Hello and welcome back to the WGL APAC Season 1. We're into Week 7 and of course now ready for team efficiency and Horsemen.
Honestly, we just couldn't hold our excitement, Jordan. We got a little bit too excited, so we had to take a step back, take a quick little break.
Had to have a shower.
Exactly. But we're ready to get into it now.
Alrighty, well, as I said, team efficiency and the Horsemen coming out as our first matchup for today. And team efficiency, of course, at the moment are looking pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking, with some strong results recently, they should be coming into this one feeling pretty good. Party and Safi, they're the two to look out for on team efficiency's side, if we had to call any.
Yeah, definitely. I think those two guys, we tend to see them a lot of the time in the bat chats, and obviously those, I suppose the core tank, really, of most lineups that we tend to see coming out in our competitive matches. But definitely those two guys ones to look at. Across the board, I mean, team efficiency has a lot of good players coming out there, so I definitely expect them coming into this one to have a pretty good time up against the Horsemen.
Yeah, I think so. And, like we said before, I reckon it's going to be a 5-2 to team efficiency. Look, the Horsemen, let's take a look at their lineup, but they are just not looking quite on the same level at the moment. They really need to pull it up, but who knows? Maybe they will this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen how close the standings are overall, so it's definitely possible here for the Horsemen maybe to pull off a win against team efficiency. I think it's going to have to be off the back of a few of their core members as well. I mean, Fuluso, for me, is one of the more consistent players on that lineup. I definitely expect to see him putting up some big numbers tonight.
Absolutely. Fuluso, he's always one to look out for, the captain of the Horsemen, of course. DHXD, Colin, two other, power players for the Horsemen. You can always expect to see, DHXD, right up the front of the fight, or maybe Colin in an IS-7, or, another heavy tank, something like that. They love playing their heavies. So, hoping to see that. But, of course, our first map...
Steps.
Probably won't be seeing too many of those. Well, only one.
Maybe one or two. We do tend to see a couple of T125s maybe sometimes here on Steps, but let's find out and see what we're going to be having. Just the 113s, two of them on team efficiency, one for Horsemen. So, I mean, that's not too out of the ordinary. Yeah,
no, nothing too crazy. Yeah, the Horsemen going with that kind of fairly light-looking setup on the defense. That's obviously so they can, rotate nice and fast. Steps is a map about mobility, Jordan, and the faster you are on Steps, generally speaking, the better you are going to perform. Team efficiency, running with that same school of thought as well, with lots of bat chats, a couple of 113s, an Object 140, and an AMX 1390 thrown in there as well. So I think, looking at those lineups, they don't give anything away. There's no crazy picks. I do, however, like the two Tier 9 bat chats on the Horseman side. Such a powerful tank, in a drawn-out brawl. I say drawn-out brawl, it takes, 15 or so seconds, give or take, for it to empty its clip. But it can put out a lot of damage if it does.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen it throughout the season so far. It's got a very good win rate, well above 50%. I think around 58%, something like that. Definitely one of the stronger tanks coming into this one. And it was kind of a question how it was going to go, considering it was quite new. But it definitely seems to have come up here and performed quite well. We'll see how it goes for the Horsemen here as we're going to get underway onto Steps.
There we go. So here we are on Steps. Of course, very wide open map. Lots of field of view for both of these teams to look down. And I think team efficiency going to be heading up towards the one flag from the looks of things on the rollout here. The Horsemen, are they going to be crossing the railway bridge? It is looking like a couple of them are. This is interesting. Normally when we see early crosses, Jordan, we do see the whole team sort of doing it. But instead, Horsemen just sending Nundesu fairly far up.
Looks like team efficiency playing with a sub this week. Bohan coming in. I believe Skell is the one that's missing. We know Skell's a relatively core part of their lineup as well. Tends to be the guy that plays in the tier 8 or the tier 9 tank whenever that is being taken away. So we'll see how that affects team efficiency here. At the moment, though, haven't seen all that much from them.
We can see that the Horsemen actually trying to get a bit of a boost over there. Looks like Spencer is going to be going for it again with DHXD backing him up. So it's a kind of a dual boost in the... Oh, no, that has not even remotely worked.
Nope.
In the VatChat 25 TAPs. No. Not great at all.
I wonder what they were even hoping to achieve there, because it just didn't look like they even got close. So maybe they just missed the angle a little bit. because we know how finicky sometimes some of those boosts can be.
Oh, absolutely. You really do need to hit those, you know, within 1 degree of variation. Otherwise, you just don't get up them. So definitely a hard boost. But honestly, like if we're being a little bit harsh, I mean, the Batchat 25 TAP, I don't think it's as easy to get up there as an AU251. But with that being said, you would have thought these guys probably would, you know, be able to boost it by now. And can they? Oh.
Yeah, no, I think Spencer's going to fall down here. He's okay.
He's struggling.
But yeah, he's definitely struggling.
He's no Till Matil.
Well, we haven't actually seen a Batchat 25T AP do this so far. We've seen RU251s, but that's it. Looks like he might have just got it. There we go. So that's going to be quite powerful, because typically,
nice.
you know, we'll see like a tier 8 tank up here. Won't be able to output that much damage, but it'll be a bit of a nuisance. But here with the Batchat 25 TAP, that tank can definitely output some damage.
Absolutely, particularly if it gets to a nice position that's overlooking the 2 flag, which is, speaking of which, the flag that Team Efficiency are heading towards right now. And they've got Dexter kind of hiding up around the back, so protecting them from any flank. They have been spotted out now. Now, Team Efficiency don't actually know where most members of the Horsemen are, so this is sort of like a blind push at the moment.
Yeah.
They're going in for it.
I'm not really a huge fan of this one here for Team Efficiency. We obviously know that the Horsemen have got Spencer up on that boost. Team Efficiency, as of yet, haven't established that, although Spencer's taken a little bit of damage. I think it was just a blind shot. Here for Team Efficiency, this is going to be tough to get this 2-cap going. I think the resets should be pretty easy for Spencer, but we'll see how it works out for them. They are starting to commit towards it, and really, now that they're on it, they really can't get off it without a fight.
Yeah, that's right. Bolognese in that 113 has just been spotted out again. And, well, Spencer is actually going to need to get these resets fairly soon. 30 seconds left on the base cap. And Gamer is, well, he's got his turret directed straight towards Spencer. So it's going to be very hard for him to actually make those peaks. And they need to get a reset soon, Jordan.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, 20 seconds. Otherwise, it's going to be a game for Team Efficiency. And we've seen so many times where matches on steps could have gone to a quick early cap on that 2-cap. But at the moment, you can see, of course, that reset has come out. And Team Efficiency now starting to take a little bit of damage. Dealing a little bit in return, but at the moment, things are still hanging in the balance.
Right, so with 22 seconds left, look, guys from Horsemen should be able to get an easy reset here as Nundesa is coming around to encircle him. Horsemen have taken roughly the same amount of damage as Team Efficiency as we pass the 6-minute mark in towards the game. But I'm liking Team Efficiency's defensive setup here.
Yeah, Gamer is taking a shot there, I think probably from Spencer, who is now starting to get involved a little bit in this battle. Dexter's very low, can't really play much of a part in this one, apart from hanging around and being a bit of a pest in towards that 5 line. For Horsemen, but he can't take another shot, otherwise he's going to be going down here. And at the moment, Team Efficiency really just bleeding a lot of HP. The Horsemen getting the better of it. You can see they've got that HP advantage now. Yeah,
there we go. So with 40 seconds left on the base cap, Horsemen resetting it nicely, doing a great job of that. All tanks on all sides still alive, which is a little bit surprising, but Team Efficiency, both Bohan and Dex are about 1 shell away from death, so they've got to be a little bit careful. But taking a look now, Dexter looks like he's going to be rotating towards the back of his team. Might have been spotted out there by Hawks. And Bolognese using that nice strong turret armor on that 113 to ding a few shells coming over from the Faluso Gorilla direction. I think that was actually a HE shell fight at Bolognese. So he's doing a great job of getting hull down. But at the moment, it is just a slugfest, Jordan.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not a good situation at all for Team Efficiency. If they keep trading like this and getting reset ever so slowly, that timer is going to be ticking down, and Horsemen, of course, have got the advantage in that respect because they're on the defensive side. And the bad thing about that for Team Efficiency right now is that they really need to win the defense here, the attack rather, of steps, because Horsemen, their defensive side is super weak, and their attacking side is super strong here on steps. So if Horsemen are able to pick up the defensive side here, there's a possibility for a 2-0, which of course we know is not really what the guys on Team Efficiency would be wanting.
And Hawks right there in the bat chat, he's just come around the back of Team Efficiency. He's just spotted out Dexter, taken down one more. See you later. Takes out Dexter right after that. So an excellent flank coming in there from Hawks, and that might be just what the Horsemen need to take out Team Efficiency.
Yeah, look, I mean, all of a sudden, Horsemen picking up 3 or 4 kills there, and, well, Team Efficiency, this has been a slow and steady defeat, but it's been a quite convincing victory as well here for the Horsemen when they do inevitably pick up the victory here, because, I mean, in no part of this has it looked like Team Efficiency has even really been in a position to actually pick up a win.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to agree with you there. Team Efficiency just start getting whittled away slowly, and well, now just a little bit quicker. And I don't think that these 3 members left on Team Efficiency, 113 and 2 Bad Chats, will be able to take out the remaining members of Horsemen. In saying that though, Gamer, he's not going down without a fight. Does take down one more, but overall, I think that excellent flank there from Hawks, that was a catalyst that let him pick up 2 kills, really disrupted Horseman's backline, you know, and you can just imagine in their comms when that happened, Jordan, that Team Efficiency would have just been flustered.
I'm a little surprised to see Team Efficiency just drive straight in there with really not all that much information on towards that 2-cap. I think if they had have known that there was someone up on that boost, then there was no way they would have pushed the 2-cap.
Right. Yeah, look, it was a very interesting push that Team Efficiency made, and not one that, you know, often we see, like, you know, teams rush towards the 2 flag. I don't mind that. You know, we see teams kind of gradually move towards it, but they just kind of plonked themselves on it and just said, okay, cross our fingers, let's hope we win.
Well, I mean, if Team Efficiency had have rushed in towards it, they probably would have denied the boost as well.
Exactly, because it took the Horsemen so long to get that Bat Chat up the boost. Would have caught them out. Would have been a lot easier for Team Efficiency to make that work, but unfortunately not. And just like that, the Horsemen win a game on steps defense, which is not really what we thought was going to happen, particularly against the the 3rd placed team in the league at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think that puts Horsemen in a really good spot now, because I would expect that they should be able to pick up the attacking side here. Team Efficiency, if they go down 0-2 here, like we said in our pre-show, you know, if they get off to a poor start, then one has to question how things are going to go throughout the rest of this series, because they often tend not to be able to bring things back.
Yeah, I think so. So, well, Team Efficiency are definitely going to be wanting to rebound off that one and take out the defensive side.
All right, well, before we get there, let's have a look first at how that first map went down here. And, well, Team Efficiency probably not wanting to relive this one.
No.
It wasn't a very good start, I suppose, to this series for them.
Not a great one. Not a great one, Jordan. And, look, at this stage, Team Efficiency were pretty much all down. I mean, the question is, should they have maybe pushed off the cap and not worried about the cap and just gone straight for the Horsemen? And it's hard to say. Maybe it would have worked better. Obviously, I mean, anything would have worked better than losing. But, yeah.
I don't think pushing off the cap would have been the correct decision either. Like, I just think not going to the 2-cap at all would have been the real correct decision. But to do that, they would have had to actually get in and get that information that there was someone on the boost. So I would have liked to see them maybe sort of peek around towards that 1-cap, see if they can figure out what's going on, what the sort of setup there for Horsemen was. Because obviously we know that the boost can shoot down in towards the 1-cap as well, and at that point they would have recognized there is someone on the boost. But anyway, digressing a little bit, that's just how it went there for Team Efficiency. And I mean, yeah, they got the guy up the top of the scoreboard or the damage charts, but really kind of irrelevant when you lose.
Exactly, JP Xerxes. Well, he did do a good job there in that Object 140, but then Gorilla, Falusa, and Spencer and Hawks, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 in their, well, all medium tanks from the looks of things, did a fair job as well. But look, overall, the Horsemen, I think most of them will be kind of fairly high up on the scoreboard. That's the first 4. And again, we can see the impact that the Tier 9 Batchat had. Spencer, you know, in that Tier 9, 2k damage.
He was the one on the boost as well.
On the boost, exactly. Like, just so hard to deal with. When you don't have any tank that's specifically built for dealing with it. You know, if the Horsemen had a grill, you know, if they'd had just, I don't know, something with a bit more alpha damage. But using Bat Chats to take down a tank on the boost is just never going to work too well, because obviously those Bat Chats, they can't afford to just, you know, throw shots with low accuracy, low hit chances. You need to hit every shot in a Bat Chat because you've got a clip. So when you go up against that hill, that boosted tank in Bat Chats, it's always going to be hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, overall, it was a difficult situation, really, for Team Efficiency. As soon as they got into that 2-cap with those 2 113s, well, for a start, as the 113s were pushing into the cap, they were taking damage, so that wasn't great. But even when they got onto the cap, like, there wasn't any way that they could retreat from that situation. They essentially just had to continue the fight, and it was always going to be a losing battle. So Team Efficiency sort of got themselves stuck in a hole, and they weren't able to get back out of it.
Very tricky, very, very tricky. Well, I hope for Team Efficiency's sake that, well, their defensive side is a little bit better than their attacking side, Jordan, because Well, that was not very pretty to watch. Just a little bit clumsy, I suppose, from Team Efficiency. So, and I'm not too sure whether this was TE's pick or Horseman's pick of the map.
TE's pick.
TE's pick. Again, you'd think they'd come up with a bit of a better strategy than that on the, you know, for their first map pick. Out of all the maps. Of course, for those that don't know as well, I think this might be a good time to explain for everyone out there that the way the map picking works is that both teams, they veto a map first, so you can take out any map you want, and then this is where Team Efficiency picks steps first.
Yeah, well, I mean, interesting decision from them. Hasn't worked out so far, but they're going to be moving over to their defensive side, which they do tend to enjoy a little bit more. Horsemen, of course, moving over to the attack, and, well, that's probably one of their best halves, I guess, of the entire map pool.
Absolutely, and I'm liking what I'm seeing there on the Horseman side for the attack. They have locked in that Lorraine 155-51 artillery piece there, which is good to see. And nothing too crazy on the TE lineup. They have gone with that AE251. Should be able to pop whoever's playing that, probably Dexter, up in towards a boost area on the defense. But yeah, Horsemen utilising that artillery piece. I always like to see a bit of arty on steps because it just lets you have just that extra element, you know, in your team that it makes it hard for the defenders to sit still. You know, they've always got to watch where they're standing, get punished if they're out in the open, etc., etc. So,
well, I think we've seen Horsemen actually play with the artillery a few times on steps, and they do tend to push towards that one cap with it. So we'll see if they continue that sort of strategy, and it does seem like at least the majority of their members are heading in that direction. I'd imagine Archon's just going to sit down there in that J5 sort of block to just deny any rotators coming across from Team Efficiency that might be trying to haggle or hassle with Fuluso in that artillery. And of course Fuluso will be backing up those guys on the one cap, trying to get a bit of damage across to the defenders as they try to get those resets. So Dexter's on the boost. But AE251, maybe not going to be as effective as a bat chat. Still, we know how important this boost is in terms of the metagame of steps.
Yeah, he's knocked down a tree there. Not the best, but he's up there nonetheless. And you know the really funny thing here is that normally you'd be completely safe up on the boost, or like relatively safe up on the boost.
Yeah.
You know, very hard for any tank, you know, down there near the one flag to hit you. But Horsemen don't have any tank. They've got an artillery. They've got a Lorraine. So the Lorraine can inflict huge amounts of damage onto an AE251 up on that boost if it gets spotted.
If it gets spotted. I mean, generally speaking, when there's players on the one cap, they're not going to be able to spot out the guy on the boost. But maybe Fuluso can fire off a couple of blind shots, see if he can land anything. That one's not going to do anything. Fired in pretty much the wrong direction.
Oh well, worth a try, I suppose.
But it's a pretty quick reload in the Lorraine, so...
Yep.
And of course, I mean, Horsemen aren't under any real pressure here. So they may as well just fire off a blind shot, see if they can get lucky.
Of course, the Lorraine, quite a mobile artillery as well, which is why we do see these teams kind of locking it in. Both the Lorraine and the Tier 10 Batchat Arty. Fairly nimble little SPGs. Oh.
That was close.
Was that an artillery shot?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah. Right. Nice little random shot there from who's playing the Arty? It's Fuluso. Yeah.
Actually, it might not have been.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been maybe a 113 shot.
Yeah. Hard to tell when the reloads aren't showing up properly.
But right now, we are going to be seeing Fuluso trying to make that boost in his artillery piece. That doesn't quite work, which is a little bit unfortunate. He's not going to worry about it too much. So there's some shots actually coming in near him. Maybe some blind shots from Team Efficiency. But if we take a look now, Team Efficiency, they're trying to gain a bit of vision control around the map with more just pushing up there down towards that K7 area. And it's not going to hit anyone. Moore is finally spotted though.
We do have a bit of pressure on the cap now here from the Horsemen, so Team Efficiency, they don't have to respond to it just yet, but they are going to be having to think about what they're going to do now to try and reset this cap. And the Horsemen, you can see, have a couple of players down towards the bottom end of that map. It's going to make the rotations difficult for Team Efficiency. If they do get the rotations across, they probably will lose one or two tanks or a lot of HP even. So it really just comes down to which of these tanks on the rotate are going to be able to come up with the victory in that small battle.
Yeah, right. So 80 seconds left on the cap. Team Efficiency still have quite a bit of time to play with, but Nandesu here might have to be a little bit careful. More has been spotted out, but the other 3 bat chats of Team Efficiency have not. And it's looking like TE are trying to use those 3 bat chats for a bit of a flank, bit of map control, but Horsemen get off the cap, and that is exactly what Team Efficiency want. They feel no need to continue pushing with those bat chats, so they're just going to hit them back towards that 2 cap.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment it seems like Horsemen are just trying to bait out something from Team Efficiency, see if they can pick off 1 or 2 tanks, and now starting to set up what could potentially be a bit of an ambush. Moving in here and hoping that Team Efficiency are going to try to once again rotate through the southern end of the map. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here for now, though. Team Efficiency not too keen on it. Moore should eventually be able to spot out all of these tanks as well, but he's actually been spotted out there by Hawks and hasn't spotted out any of the Horseman players, so he's under a little bit of pressure now because there's, what, 5 tanks headed in his direction.
It's looking like it right there, but he is in a nice little kind of hidey hole up there on that mountain, if you will. But I'm not too sure how hidey that's going to be because Gorilla is just coming up around him and he's trying to trade it out with DHXD. Ideally, Horseman would not really want to sacrifice too much HP to take down Moore here. But Moore's doing a good little job of defending himself as well as spotting out. Well, he spotted out Gorilla, but I'm not too sure if he spotted out any of the other Team Efficiency guys. Or other Horsemen guys down there. But overall, 69 seconds left on the cap, and we do have 3 members of Team Efficiency. Those bat chats were very, very close, and Nandesu just gets exploded by Botag.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy coming out here from the Horsemen. They're basically taking the fight to Team Efficiency, trying to keep the pressure and trying to keep the battle towards the southern end of the map, and really leaving Spencer to his own devices up on that 1 cap, hoping maybe that the pressure of this 1 cap and the pressure of the fight in the southern end of the map is going to force a mistake from Team Efficiency. At the moment, Team Efficiency are doing well to counteract that. They've already taken down that 1 tank, and well, they've kept Moore alive for quite a while, but eventually something's going to have to give here because Team Efficiency, they've got 30 seconds to get this reset, and now they have to rotate back up towards the north.
Yeah, this is very good pressure here from the Horsemen. Team Efficiency, they have actually sent Dexter down from his little boost position, and surprising that Moore is still alive, but we've got two members on the cap there for Horsemen. They might just do it.
Oh, well, there's Dexter there ready for the reset. Doesn't get the good one, but someone else does. And there you go. The reset has come out for the Horsemen, but this is essentially the go signal for them as they've started to send some members forward in the southern end of the map up towards the north. Hawks has taken a lot of damage, and he might just get out of here alive, but definitely a good passage of play there for Team Efficiency, who are now with the tank advantage and a massive HP advantage as well.
It is looking good for Team Efficiency right now. They have just about all their tanks on, well, roughly full HP, or very healthy at least, apart from Moore, who has gone down, and Horsemen, suddenly they've only got 3 minutes left. They've got to come up with a new strategy. Somewhere new to push, and Dexter actually, is he going to get this boost again?
Yep.
Looks like he will.
Should get it pretty easy. Horsemen, it's so hard to figure out where to go from here for the Horsemen. Like, no matter where they go into, they're going to always have that disadvantage of the health and the tanks. And even considering now that they've still got that artillery as well, it's almost like playing up against sort of like a 4v6 right now, because the artillery getting this late into the game isn't going to have that much of an impact.
Right. No, you're exactly right. Artillery, you know, you want to be getting those shots early on, and I haven't seen any high impact shots coming out from Falusa this game. And you know, he tried a few on Moore, and really trying to shoot a bat chat that's always moving in a very hard spot. I mean, you're not convinced. I'm not too sure if Moore was the only one spotted out at that time, but anyways, right now the Horsemen, they've only got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to decide what to do, and I think the order of the day is going to be a 2 flag push with their limited resources that they have left. Only 4 tanks remaining effectively for a push, because Falusa is not really going to be kind of charging in there in that Lorraine.
Yeah, I don't know how Horsemen are going to be going about this to actually get a win. It feels like any sort of situation that can occur here is going to be in the favor of Team Efficiency, and really I think what Horsemen needed there was for Faluso to probably hit Party down to a very low amount of HP, and they can clean him up. And even then, I mean, they'd still be behind, but at least they might have something to work with. Now that they've missed that shot, they're going to be charging into this one 4 versus 6, and there's almost no hope for them. 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. I don't know how they hope to pick up a victory here, but I guess at least they have to go for something, right? So we'll see how it turns out.
Well, we'll see. It's looking like it's not turning out too well to start off with. Spencer's just gone down. Archon here is going to be getting into the fray, but look, this is just not going to work for the Horsemen. They're outnumbered, they're outgunned, they're going down.
Yeah, Archon's going to be dropped very shortly here. Hawks as well, only on a very low amount of HP, and Faluso, he's on full, but it's kind of irrelevant considering he's in an artillery. There's only 50 seconds left on the clock. Not a very good performance coming out there from the Horsemen. It's a little bit surprising. They're generally pretty good on the attack of steps.
Well, exactly. It's very surprising because we saw them on the defensive side there. They were looking super strong to start this one off, but yeah, losing the attack, just a bit of a curveball in there. But team efficiency are definitely going to be happy about it. JP Sexy takes down the last bat chat of the Horsemen, and with 23 seconds left, I'm not too sure that there's anything Faluso can do. No,
there's definitely nothing that he can do here. 27 damage. Well, I wonder how much damage he got overall there, because it certainly didn't feel to me like that artillery was particularly effective.
No, not at all. I think that artillery piece, look, you'd want to be having much more of an impact than that, and there was some clever play there, right, by team efficiency. I really like the rotate, the pressure that they put on the bottom flank of the Horsemen. When they put those bat chats down there, more up in that little hidey hole, who took way too long to take down. So excellent play. Shout out to Moore there for the very nice bat chat play. But overall, Horsemen just didn't look as strong in that attacking side.
Yeah, they did seem to be a little bit lost. I could kind of see the strategy that they wanted to go for there, which was forcing the fight towards the south here. But you can't necessarily just leave your player up on the cap undefended like that. It's always going to be, there's always going to be someone there to reset it. And of course that was the case there for team efficiency as well. And I mean, as a result, you can see they cleaned this one up with pretty much relative ease.
Yeah, I think so. So, well, Horsemen are going to be licking their wounds after that attacking side rather. On steps, and team efficiency here. Look, once Horsemen just went in towards a 2-cap, it was a simple matter of cleaning them up. There was no real chance that Horsemen had to try and take them down. Maybe if half of team efficiency was split off somehow at that point, then they might have had a whisper of a chance to get a cap, but no, not the case, I think. And I mean, do you think? Well, what do you think the RD did there, as in terms of damage-wise?
Not a lot. That'd be maybe like 500 tops.
500, you reckon?
I don't even know if I got that. Like, I don't remember. Apart from that one shot that did 27, I don't remember any of the artillery shots hitting. So, a little bit questionable. I think maybe they're from Horsemen. But we'll have to see how the damage stats show us, because I guess that will really enlighten us. But definitely to me, it just didn't feel like it had an impact.
No, I've got to agree with you. And I mean, we can see it's certainly not up to the not up the top of the scoreboard, not to be seen up there. And well, team efficiency are, however, they've got 5 members all the way up there. Horsemen, though, with Hawks and Archon in those bat chats on number 4 and 5. And, I mean, overall, the Horsemen, look, they didn't do too badly. 1-1 on a map that they didn't pick, so you can't really complain about that.
Yeah, look, I think for both teams, I mean, it's not a terrible result. 1-1, of course, it's even, but...
oh, no, 1K. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, still not... I guess for a Tier 8, it's not bad. But, again, you're not really picking an artillery just to do 1K damage.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, really across the board, though, Nundesu, Gorilla, and Spencer are probably the ones that we need to be looking at there, who basically didn't perform at all. But, yeah, look, I think that's not so bad for either team. I think team efficiency, they'll be pretty happy with a 1-1 there on steps. Heading on towards mines, it's Horseman's pick. And both teams are relatively comfortable on this map as well.
Look, mines, I can see why Horsemen picked it. They have looked quite strong in mines this season so far. But again, like you said, team efficiency, not a bad team on mines. They are generally a decent team on most maps. But, we have seen some pretty good mines performances out of them. So this one, again, I'm actually leaning towards a bit of a 1-1 here, Jordan.
Yeah, I think so. Team efficiency, they haven't actually lost on mines so far, but they haven't played it all that much. So it is hard to get a bit of a read on there, but Horsemen certainly have had very good performances on it lately. Again, they're quite a lot better on the attack than on the defense, but they seem a little bit more comfortable on the defensive mines than they have been on the defensive steps. So going into this one, I think it's a pretty good situation for Horsemen, but likewise, I think I'll lean towards a 1-1 here. It just feels to me like both these teams at the moment aren't quite you know, at their
No,
peak.
yeah, team efficiency haven't kicked into gear yet, I don't think.
No.
But we'll have to wait and see if they can in this round.
Yeah, look, we'll figure out how they're going to go about it, though, first with the tank picks. Here on Mines, we'll see what they've decided to go for.
Oh!
2 mouses.
Two
Mines,
mouses.
Mouse.
2
I
mouse.
think it's
I like
Moiser.
that. Moiser. Wow. That's a good one. But 2 mouse for the Horsemen. I am really liking that pick there. They are going to be locking in those 2 tier 10 German heavy tanks.
2, though?
Yeah.
I think one might be enough on Mines.
No, I like the 2 because the whole point of going mouses is you know, you've got like a steel wall.
Yeah.
You know? So I do like the 2 mouses there. And I mean, in terms of other picks, we've got the TVPs on the Horseman side. Nothing wrong with them. They are, of course, generally going to be primaried out by team efficiency, so they can put out so much damage, those check tier 10 auto-loading mediums. Here we are. This is Mines.
T49 probably won't have a great time up against those
No.
2 German tier 10 heavies.
No chance. I would not want to be that tier 49. Unless you can get a nice shot onto, I don't know, maybe one of the bat chats.
Yeah.
But good to see those bat chat APs there, and it will be actually a team efficiency push up towards a hill early on.
Well, I think that's relatively safe for them. I mean, they take a bit of damage, but not too much. Dexter, he got wrecked. Absolutely demolished. Well, then, I was going to say it wasn't a bad strategy, but then Dexter gets absolutely demolished, essentially. I guess the thought process there for the team efficiency guys was that, well, Horseman has 2 mouses. They're not going to really contest the hill, so we may as well just take it. But in that case, didn't work out too well.
Very sneaky positioning, actually. I don't think I've seen that sort of a hill start positioning coming out from any other team before, where Archon and DHXD were just like kind of down there at that little corner ridge area. So, oh, Nandesu, I love it. Look at that. Does miss his shot though, so it's a little bit disappointing, but hey, it's a mouse. That's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you can keep dinging those shells, you're doing your job, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, the mouse is not really here to do a huge amount of damage. We're looking towards maybe the TVPs a little bit more for that one. But he has managed to get a shot into Bolognese there, and this is just going to be, I guess, your good old-fashioned heavy brawl.
Yeah, it's looking like it. And in the meantime, on the left side of the map, JP Xerxes has just gone down, so DHXD really doing some work there. Spencer spotted him out. So that's another member of Team Efficiency down. A great start here for the Horsemen. At TE, they're trying to make a play happen with Party and Moore all the way around the corner, but Gamer here, he's not looking too healthy.
Yeah, and Moore's been spotted out as well, so this push that Team Efficiency is trying to get going, this little play, as you say, it's not going to work out for them, because now Horsemen know exactly what's going on. They're rotating all of their tanks across from the western side of the map over towards the east here, just to deal with Moore and Party, and I don't see them getting all that much done. Yeah, we've seen one of those mouses go down here for the Horsemen, but they have such a big HP pool to play with still that Team Efficiency are really going to be struggling again to get out of this hole that they found themselves in. And have a look at Spencer as well up towards the north. He's going to cause some damage coming in from behind both of those heavy tanks for Team Efficiency.
Yeah, it's looking like it right there as Spencer just rears his head around the corner, and suddenly almost all of, well, in fact, just about all, of Team Efficiency have been spotted. So they're all out on the open on the hill. Game has just been spotted there as well. Falusa doing a great job of digging the shells. In the meantime, this circle is coming around. Team Efficiency members on the hill. Spencer's going to have to contend with Moore as Party's just gone down there.
On one shot. I think Spencer's going to be able to take him down easily, and there you go. No worries at all. There's 3 players left alive here for Team Efficiency. Spencer gets dropped down to 61 HP, but he definitely did his job, come up from behind and put a lot of pressure on those Team Efficiency heavies. And now the rest of the Horsemen are starting to get involved. Gorilla, DHXD, Hawks and Archon. We haven't really seen all that much from them in all this passage of play, really. So now once they get involved, these 2 113s aren't going to be lasting much longer.
No, I don't think so. And DHXD just bouncing over the corner with that TVP. And look, really the issue here for Team Efficiency is that those mouses just meant that they could not continue their push over the hill. Sure, they got the hill, but that didn't matter at all to the Horsemen.
I mean, not to mention Dexter getting popped straight away.
Well, exactly. That didn't help at all. But, just Faluso and Nandesu played so well. So well in those mouses. Just dinging I don't know how many shells. They probably got a few steel wall medals after that one, you know. And, well, probably might be on track to get the steel wall MVP at the end of our season as well. But overall, look, some excellent strategizing there coming out of Horsemen. It just didn't look like there was a time when Team Efficiency could actually, you know, have breathing room around that map.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder how much effectiveness that T-49 would have had anyway. Like,
well, of course, it is blind. You know, for those that don't know, we do have blind tank picks. So what that means is that, you know, when Horsemen are picking up their two Mouses, those two German super heavies, Team Efficiency don't know that. Yeah. Right? So Team Efficiency are just thinking, oh, yeah, it's the Horsemen. They like playing fast tanks. They like playing medium tanks. You know, they like playing bat chats. That's probably what we're going to see. Suddenly, curveball, Mousers, not expecting it, and it's a great counter pick.
Anyway, it didn't work out very well overall there for Team Efficiency. Once again, Horsemen picking up a win on the defense to start things off. And, well, like you said, this was a good start. This is where they essentially absolutely demolished Dexter. They saw him coming from a long way away. Someone must have tracked him there, and he goes down. So, not a good start to that one for Team Efficiency. And then, of course, these Mouses, they just soaked up so much damage. And then when Nundesu did eventually go down, it was just too little too late.
Yeah, and he's still like a steel wall there, so it just made Faluso harder to kill, even when he did go down. So maybe I might have liked to see Team Efficiency get a tank on the boost up there. That might have helped them out.
It probably wouldn't have, I don't think, because those two Mouses were not in a position to be hit by anyone on that boost.
True.
So, and they were really the big problem for Team Efficiency overall, I would say.
Oh, well, win some, you lose some, I guess. And Horsemen are going to be pretty happy with that. Let's take a look at how they did on the battle stats. And we can see actually quite a few Team Efficiency members up the top there.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you're shooting two Mouses.
I suppose, yeah.
There's a lot of damage to actually deal.
Yeah. So you know...
Trouble is getting through it all.
Yeah, Bolognese dealt 3.4, or just about 3.5k damage. That's like one mouse and a shot.
Yeah.
That's like, well done. Anyways... Well, those Mouses, actually, I almost would have expected them to have dealt a little bit more damage, but of course it's not their only role. And we do see them, you know, 1k each.
That's not bad.
And so just, I mean, look, they fulfill their purpose, so you can't really complain about that. And poor old Dexter only got one shot off in his T-49, just got absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, didn't manage to land it either. So I guess... yeah, it makes sense across the board there, all those damage. That's nothing particularly surprising coming out there. Like I said, we probably expected the TVPs and the bat chats to be doing the damage there for the Horsemen, and there you go. They did do that. So a good start there onto Mines again for Horsemen. We didn't really expect them maybe to pick up the defensive side as opposed to the attacking side. But I did say a 1-1, so at least I think... maybe Team Efficiency can come back here.
Maybe. You reckon? Well, I said 1-1 as well, so I can't really go back on it.
When I said 1-1, I thought that both teams would be winning the attack. So that puts a bit of a spanner in the works here for me.
Right. Well, why don't you guys at home let us know what you think with a hashtag WGL APAC or in the Twitch chat below, wherever you're watching. But for now, I think Team Efficiency, they need to pull it up a little bit in this series, because the way that they're playing, they're looking super evenly matched with the Horsemen. And, I mean, that's dangerous for TE. They
third versus seventh, it shouldn't be looking evenly
Exactly.
It should be looking like Team Efficiency coming in here with an advantage. And, you know... where's the Horsemen from 2 weeks ago? The Efficiency, rather, from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, they've just gone missing. They played so well against Coalition Zoo, and now they just... I mean, they're not looking terrible, but they're not looking anywhere near like they did up against Coalition Zoo. So, I mean, something's just gone missing.
Well, on the other hand, I'm really liking Horsemen's strategies here. You know, I'm loving the Mouses. That isn't really a sort of Horseman move.
No, typically when we've seen the Mouse coming out of Mines, it's been B gaming. But Horsemen again changing things up.
They've learned some from their friends over in Japan, B Gaming. Might have taken a few looks at some of the VODs. Of course, for those that do want to take a look at the VODs for any past matches, we've got them all up on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WGAsiaCG. Stands for competitive gaming, of course, for those that might be
I didn't actually know. I did not know what it stood for.
There you go. Learning something every day, Jordan. Yeah. But I mean, we're an educational stream.
Are we?
You know, well, if you look at how these players are playing, then you're probably going to get better at tanks. I mean, that way we're educational.
All right. Well, let's have a look and see how they do play. First, though, let's have a look at the tank lineups for the second half here of Mines.
M40. I'm loving it. Team Efficiency going to be going with that Tier 8 American SPG, the M40, M43. And that can wreak a lot of havoc, particularly on Horsemen's lineup, where they have 4 squishy bat chats and 1 TVP locked in there. So, if they can use that and get a few good shots with JP Xerxes playing that one, then Horsemen might be in for a little bit of trouble. Horsemen would be surprised to see a flat-out rush coming out of them, though.
Well, they have rushed up straight in towards the mine there, and they've managed to gain control of that. Oh, Bolognese.
Oh, he's tracked.
He's tracked, but I don't think JP Xerxes would have been reloaded by then, but would have been nice
spotted,
to see.
Actually, was he?
He was. I'm
oh,
sure.
okay, he was, yeah.
Pretty sure he was spotted.
Whew. Lucky Mr. Gorilla. But overall, looks like that wasn't the only shot. No, but it's looking like Horsemen do have full hill control right now. We've got team efficiency with Bohan and Moore out on the beach. So they might be looking to push up whenever they can. Archon is sort of holding out the beach for the Horsemen. We've got Bolognese here in the town, just looking towards that one flag. Overall, though, I think the Horsemen, they'll just be looking for some nice, easy trades up on the Mines Hill.
How are we going to look to see if they can actually spot anyone out at the moment? It doesn't really seem like there's all that many people spotted. Dexter, I guess, is the only one at the moment. So team efficiency with, I guess they are aware that Horsemen would have control of that hill, but they just don't know which tanks are actually on the hill.
Yeah.
So still just trying to sniff that out. At the moment, it's working out pretty well for the Horsemen. They're doing a fair bit of damage across to Dexter. Did a little bit over to Moore. I mean, they've taken some in return, but their focus has been a little better as well. So Dexter getting a bit low, whereas the guys on Horsemen, they're all still pretty healthy.
Right. No, exactly. And Horsemen right here, well, looking pretty good. If they can boost Spencer up, which is looking like they are going to be doing, then Spencer might be able to get a few nice shots on towards Gamer and Dexter, maybe even Bolognese. So they're all out quite in the open. But what team efficiency want right now is just some nice spots for their artillery piece to get some shots on towards.
Yeah, I guess really still at the moment for team efficiency, waiting for that M40-43 to have an impact on this game.
I mean, you know, it can one shot those bat chats that are, you know, that are left with a nice shot. Gorilla, Spencer, they've got to be very, very careful. That's the moment. Spencer looks like he's not really in danger of that artillery because he's boosted up down that 0 line. And will actually get a shot directed at him from that 113. Only does about 290 damage or so. Which Gamer would have liked to have seen a little bit more potentially. But overall, not going to be the case, as we do see Horsemen just playing it slowly for now. It's just getting those spots, maybe trying to send Spencer up, trying to get a few more picks. But all the while they do that, team efficiency are slowly edging up. They're slowly gaining map control on the coast. Moore is just pushing himself up, and if Moore gets behind Horsemen without them knowing,
yep,
it's dangerous.
It definitely is, and not only just the fact that if Moore gets behind them, but the map control that it allows there for team efficiency for anyone rotating around on towards that western side of the map with freedom, really. Moore has, at the very least now, for the Horsemen, been spotted out, so he can't make his way up behind them without at least Horsemen figuring it out. Is DHXD going to go up on the boost here as well? Wonder. He's driving around in that direction.
Maybe. That'd be interesting. Have we seen a double boost before?
Yeah, I think we have
maybe
a couple
once.
times.
Yeah.
But very quickly, the second tank actually came off the boost. It looks like he's trying. Didn't manage to achieve it that time, though.
I mean, he can try all he wants, but the timer is ticking down, so we've got less than 6 minutes remaining right now. So the Horsemen, they, I mean, I suppose they do still have a little bit of time that they can, you know, flutter with. But, JP Xerxes in that M40, M43, I'm not too sure if you want to be dancing with that too long, you know? Oh, that was so close, he almost got it.
Yeah, nearly. Not quite, though. And as you mentioned, the timer is ticking away, but I mean, there's still 5 minutes or so here to play with for Horsemen. The real trouble is that they've lost a lot of HP. And so anywhere that they push now, they're going to have trouble getting in without losing 1 or 2 tanks relatively quickly. I mean, Gorilla, he can only take 1 shot from anyone, and he's going to go down. So difficult situation now for Horsemen. I mean, they've got control of the hill, but apart from that, really, what else do they have? I guess a one flag push here with someone up on the boost could make things a little difficult for team efficiency, but even then they should be able to get relatively easy resets.
They should, but you never know, I guess. And as we see, 4 minutes and 45 seconds left. DHXD looks like he will just maybe be able to make it. Yes, he has finally made it up on towards that boost there in his bat chat. So for anyone at home that's an avid bat chat player, you can note that one down. Remember it for the next time you're on Mines. You can pop up there and surprise a few public players.
Yeah, but maybe practice it first because it's not as easy as it looks.
That is true. That is very true.
You don't want to be driving around in a pub game for like 10 minutes.
Oh, that's what we want to see from the artillery piece. Big shot on towards Hawks.
And again, that's just going to put even more pressure here on the Horsemen. They've got another tank that's very low. DHXD is now almost a one-shot. He's probably a two-shot for most of the tanks here onto team efficiency. But across the board, Horsemen are just bleeding damage across the team efficiency. And, I mean, it does look like team efficiency should be going into whatever fight sort of happens with a big advantage.
Well, absolutely. Team efficiency have a total health pool of 8.5 thousand HP, as we can see at the top left. Horsemen only with 6k. So, if all that brawl comes out, which is looking like team efficiency are going for right here, they have moved up to the hill. Hawks and Gorilla are still up there, so they'll either have to drop down or try and commit to the fight.
Moore, he's playing with fire at the moment. Hasn't been shot just yet, but there we go. His friend Gorilla is going to be taking down the first tank of this battle to be lost. Horsemen now, all of them getting very, very low. Nundesu with the most HP, and he's only sitting on 1400, which is really nothing to write home about. He's been dropped down a little bit lower now. Fuluso on 33 HP, extremely low. Across the board, Horsemen just looking very unhealthy.
With only 3 minutes left as well. One more shot's all it's going to take out Fuluso. But in saying that, well, team efficiency, some of them aren't looking super healthy. And if they can take out, say a bat chat, a TVP, and another bat chat, then that will be a lot of damage off the field there. A lot less damage for Horsemen to worry about. But right now, team efficiency, they don't need to push in towards a Horseman because they are on the defense. They could just sit here for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and they will be golden. Right now, though, the Horsemen can't really retreat off the hill because otherwise team efficiency will push them. So Nundesu and Fuluso forced into holding these positions, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I really would have liked to have seen these guys up on the boost do a little bit more work. I don't think having 2 people on the boost there was necessarily warranted for Horsemen. They just haven't had the effect that you would hope for, right? Like, one tank up on that boost would have had the same effect that both of these two up there would have had. Just doesn't feel like they're having really anything to say about how this match is going.
Yeah, I feel as though if you're going to do the boost, you do it early while the other team's getting into position, while there's still potential for an element of surprise. But it just felt like a kind of last-ditch effort there for the Horsemen. And as soon as DHXD got up there, he was spotted. He was lit up for over 1,000 damage. And, well, that was the great idea of the boost. Went down the toilet.
So, at the end of this, it's going to be 2-2 for team efficiency and Horsemen. So, about what we expected to start off with. Himmelsdorf, though, is going to be another story. We'll have to talk about that, though, once this one's finished. Waiting, I guess, just for DHXD and Spencer really to go down here. Bolognese is keen to get the job over and done with, but as of yet hasn't managed to get the shot. There we go. Gamer actually picks up DHXD. And now it's just Spencer up on that boost. He's got a nice view, but apart from that, really not a whole lot to speak about. Doesn't have anyone to share it with. All of his teammates are dead.
Yeah. Maybe he could try for a hero run against the
Maybe he should just try and take down JP Xerxes and make us all feel a bit better.
Oh no, he's been spotted out by Party though. Oh, gets taken out by Dexter. Fair effort there, Spencer, but no cigar for that man.
Yeah, so 2 apiece after the first couple of matches, or maps. I don't think that's entirely surprising coming out here between Horsemen and Efficiency, though the way Team Efficiency have played at times has looked a little bit shaky. It just feels like on the attacking side, they don't know what they want to do. I mean, obviously it's not really an issue on the defending side where they can get into positions and just hold them. But I think that's fairly similar as well for Horsemen, who on their attacking side have just looked a little bit lost.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, it is strange to see Horsemen on the attacking side do so poorly. But I suppose let's take a look at the replay so we can see how that kind of unraveled for the Horsemen there.
Well, they just took too long to really do anything. and they just took too much damage as they were setting up. So they got control of the hill quite easily, which is fair enough, but you have to actually do something with it, right? There's no point in controlling the mine if you're just going to sit there and take artillery shots every now and then. Which, of course, was Team Efficiency's win condition, basically, was to stall the game out.
Well, exactly.
Allow the M4043 to get a bit of damage across, and they did just that.
Yeah. I really would have expected the Horsemen with that lineup as well. You know, they're all fast tanks. They've got two 113s in there as well, which are, you know, still fast enough to just rush the hill and rush right through, rush on towards, you know, Team Efficiency's defensive side. They didn't have two mouses to contend with that time. You know, they could have just gone straight through, and there would have been, you know, yes, some resistance from Team Efficiency, but it would have been equal. So I would have really liked to have seen that rather than that defensive play that Horsemen used. Whether they were trying to set up a trap for Team Efficiency, trying to bait them in, it just didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel to me like Team Efficiency was ever going to be baited into anything there when they had an artillery. Like,
yeah, well, exactly.
Sure, it's all well and good to try and force a bait, but if you're just going to be sitting somewhere and your opponent has an artillery, you're essentially just playing into their hands. And of course, we saw how well that artillery did. Got off a couple of shots, so there you go, 1900 damage. That's well worth it.
That's what you want, exactly, from a Tier 8 artillery piece. And, I mean, that's what we expect to see from something like the M40, M43. Can do so much damage, those American arties. And overall, TVP of Dexter, I mean, again, when you let a TVP survive, it is going to be up the top of the scoreboard. There is no two ways about it. And Dexter proving that theory true once again. But overall, nothing too crazy for the Horsemen up there. And, well, most of the Horsemen, in fact, all the way down the bottom, 9 through 13. So not so great numbers there.
No.
As is to be expected when they didn't really manage to take out too many of Team Efficiency by the end as well. But, I mean, moving on, right, to Himmelsdorf. I think we've seen Horsemen do so well on the defense here on mines and the defense on steps, right? I feel like Himmelsdorf will actually suit them quite well. And even though my initial prediction was 5-2 in this series, I actually think we could be seeing Horsemen take out definitely one half here on Himmelsdorf. Yeah, maybe the defensive side.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I mean overall throughout the first two maps we've said, oh well, Horsemen are looking good on the attack on steps, Horsemen are looking good on the attack on mines, and again they statistically are looking pretty good on the attack of Himmelsdorf, but from what we've seen today, they're not looking that great on attack. So even though Himmelsdorf maybe leans a little bit towards the attacking side, Horsemen, of course, lean a little bit towards the attacking side on Himmelsdorf. It's hard to predict that they will pick up a victory on Himmelsdorf just because we haven't really seen them do anything on it on the attacking side at all, really, throughout steps and mines. So for me, you know, this could be, again, a defense-sided map. Both teams picking up their defensive side because neither of them have looked very convincing at all on the attack.
Yeah, I think so. So, excuse me, on the attack there, as I'm just dying a little bit, because I think the Horsemen, I don't know, maybe they've inflicted me with some kind of flu, so that all my predictions are getting Flusa, exactly. So all my predictions are getting wrong as well. But overall, on the defensive side here on Himmels, as long as they don't pick any American tanks,
T123s, or
if they pick any T123s, then I revoke my prediction, and I said they'll lose. T124 is fine, of course.
Okay.
But T125, nah. They'll lose. Actually, and Team Efficiency might pick some FEs, FE215Bs here on Himmelsdorf, mightn't they?
Yeah.
I think so, potentially. Or FE4005s. We like to see them.
We saw a lot of AMX 50Bs last week from Team Efficiency.
That's right, AMX 50Bs.
On Himmelsdorf. And those two, the two AMX 50Bs that they had, or two or three, at least two of them came up very big for Team Efficiency. We saw the Coalition 2 trying to run up the banana, and the AMX 50Bs just absolutely demolished them from across the map. Yeah. So, but again, that was sort of like a different Team Efficiency to what we're seeing today. That was a very counter-strat heavy Team Efficiency. But today it just seems like they're not, they're just sitting in spots and waiting.
I suppose, in a way, because we haven't had the matches last week, there's been maybe less for Team Efficiency to counter-strat. And of course, for those that don't know, we're using a bit of lingo here. Counter-strat, of course, it very simple, just means counter-strategy. So Team Efficiency, what they'll do is they'll look through the replays, look through the match VODs of teams that they're going to be facing in the upcoming week, see how they played, see where they played, see where they went on the maps, what tanks they picked, etc. But of course, the issue with having a break week is that they can't do that for last week. They've got kind of old data, if you will, to look at for the Horsemen. And Horsemen have obviously adapted. They've never picked 2 mouses on mines before, and well, there we go. That's why it's worked for them.
Well, definitely. And we'll have to see what they come up with here on Himmelsdorf. I wouldn't expect to be seeing anything too out there coming out. Maybe some E100s, but that doesn't feel like a Horseman kind of pick. I think maybe Efficiency perhaps could pick some E100s. Maybe you've seen them do that a couple of times already. But, yeah, across the board, I'm just thinking AMX 50Bs, FV 215Bs. Maybe we'll see a couple of FV 4005s, which have started to creep their way into the meta here on Himmelsdorf in APAC. But apart from that, I think it's going to be a relatively standard battle. And yeah, it just comes down to which team here maybe is going to be able to pick up the attacking side, because so far, every single round that we've seen, the first 4 have all gone to the defense. So if you pick up the attack, you put yourself in a good spot when you swap over to the defensive side and, go 2-0 as opposed to 1-1.
Yeah, well, I think so. So, well, we just have to wait and see how these guys do play it out in this one. But, I mean, overall, I would like to see some new strategy coming out. And it is good to see at this late stage of the season, right, some still fresh tank picks where we're not locked in at all. And that's what's been one of the great things this season of WGL APAC is that there's been a much wider variety of tank picks, which have actually worked as well, which we've seen in repeat matches.
Yep.
And even today we're seeing things like, the double mouse defense on mines, which we haven't seen at all throughout the season. And it is really good to see that sort of variety. And, hopefully it'll continue all the way up to our finals, which, coming up pretty shortly.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm hoping to see something even more out there coming out at the finals. Like, I mean, obviously teams, say EL Gaming, they have something up their sleeve. They're not going to be using it here at the moment in the regular season when they know that they're already very likely going to be heading to the finals, considering the points that they're already sitting on.
Well,
so
exactly.
They'll be saving their strategies there for something maybe if they need it at the finals.
Well, I mean, EL Gaming, honestly, they're a team which I'm not even sure that they will be saving their strategies for the finals. They take every single match so seriously, which obviously, as they should. This is the Wargaming.net League, and it reflects in their results.
Yep.
But, we've seen them kind of jumped into their match chats a couple of times, and, they are steely-eyed, they are determined right from the tank picks, right from, map vetoes even, they are ready to go. So.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting final, I think. Hoping to see, of course, EL Gaming there. But there's a few other teams that are contesting for that. I mean, like Meltdown, of course, sitting in number 2. But again, they're looking a little bit shaky lately. So we'll have to see how they go. They're playing up next. And then, of course, Team Efficiency, who at the moment are not looking that great. Like, if we saw Team Efficiency up against EL Gaming at the finals here on LAN, I don't think Team Efficiency is going to have much chance considering the way they're playing right now. Like, EL's just going to walk over them. So...
Yeah.
We're going to have to see the EL maybe from the Efficiency from 2 weeks ago coming up in the next few weeks, hopefully. But let's have a look at the tank picks. And
T1 Tenny3.
T1 Tenny3, sadly for you.
See ya, Horsemen. Alrighty, so the Horsemen are going to lose this. Team Efficiency going to win. They have an FV4005. Bob's your uncle. But in saying that, look, honestly, that FV4005, it doesn't have much to shoot. It's only got really those 2 AMX 50Bs in terms of easy targets for it to get through with that Hesh.
Yeah.
And realistically speaking, this is actually almost a matchup where in the FE, you consider loading AP instead of those high explosive squashed head premium rounds. But I doubt that Team Efficiency will be doing that. Instead, also going to be going with some 113, some AMX 50Bs, and a couple of French tanks, French medium and light tanks themselves, the Batchat and the AMX.
Well, I think the ones to watch here for Efficiency really are going to be those AMX 50Bs. They tend to be the power players on Himmelsdorf regardless of who's picking them. But for Team Efficiency, of course, those 2 tanks are always being played quite well.
Yeah. So right now, let's take a look at where Team Efficiency roll out to. So we can see that we do have that FV4005 more heading up the hill, and looks like Party in that Batchat might be the kind of spotter for him. I like that kind of dual combo. So having that Batchat with that nice wide, nice long viewing range, comboed up with that FV4005. So in the meantime, the rest of Team Efficiency just spreading out a little bit, not committing to any plan of attack. They're just trying to get some vision, trying to get some map control. They've got Boham and Gamer heading out around the banana and around the central courtyard there. Bolognese is holding the fort there around on the H line. We've got Dexter just poked out on towards the rail tracks and didn't find too much.
Yeah, Spencer's in a dangerous position if he does get spotted out there, but for now, Party is actually just going to be putting a bit of damage into Colin, so not a bad start there for Team Efficiency, taking a couple of free shots into the IS-7. They're not going to complain about that. And Dexter now, once again, just going to be trying to scout out that railway line. I don't know if he spotted anyone out, though.
Not sure. It's not looking like it there. Dexter in that AMX 1390. He's going to be heading back towards his team. So, this is interesting. Team Efficiency, look, they're a very vision-focused team when they do these strategies. So, like, they will always, or very, very often, do this thing which they're doing right now, which I've just completed. You know, survey the map, try and find out where the Horsemen are, you know, and try and figure out the best plan of approach, the best plan of attack. But they haven't really been afforded too much information. They've spotted out Colin, I think. I'm not too sure if they've even spotted out any member of the Horsemen on that rail track line. So, you know, they're still sitting in the dark, which doesn't fare well for them.
No, it definitely doesn't. Although Team Efficiency, they have an exactly 50% win rate on Himmelsdorf. So, statistically speaking, they should pick up at least one of these rounds. Horsemen have fared a little better lately. 65% overall, but very good in the attack here. So I think, again, the important one for Team Efficiency to pick up right now is this one on the attack of Himmelsdorf. So they need to really lift above what their last two attacking performances have been on Steps on and Mines, and really make something of it. And Moore, he has been spotted out, and he is in a lot of trouble, and he's going to be taken down there by Faluso as well. Bad luck, mate. Better luck next time.
The barn has...
He did like 300 damage to the IS-7.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why, again, should have loaded AP more, just saying. Anyways, enough of that. Team Efficiency are going to be heading in towards that 2 flag, and, well, unfortunately, they're going to be met with a nice, angry T110 E3 when they do. Nundesu there, he is ready. He's waiting in that Tier 10 American Tank Destroyer, and, well, it's one of the few times when it's a pretty good tank for this sort of scenario, as long as it doesn't move out. But he's moving out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dexter's not going to have much luck against him in reality. Though Dexter does have a couple of his big brothers behind him, I suppose, in the AMX 50Bs. So the AMX 50Bs definitely can make short work of a T110 E3 if they get in the right positions. At the moment, though, I think Horsemen are just waiting for Spencer to rotate around through the south of the map before they do anything too crazy. Now that they are going to be getting some information up towards the hill very shortly, they have started to move forward. Nundesu, he should be proxy spotting both of those tanks right now, and well, he's taking a little bit of damage for his trouble there. Well, a whole lot much more going across from his friendly AMX 50Bs though. Or in fact the FE215Bs even.
Yeah, so right now this is a bit of a funny brawl situation because Horsemen, they've got all of these tanks on the flag, on the cap, and they have just reset Team Efficiency, but they don't really need to commit to this, and they should be okay just trading it out as long as they can really try and punish these AMX 50Bs. Like if JP Xerxes unloads this clip, they should go on him. You know, they should take him down because AMX 50B does take quite a while to reload.
Definitely does, but at the moment they don't really need to do anything rash, no sort of risky push in towards anything, because you can look at the HP advantage that they've already got. They've already got the tank advantage as well, so if they just play the trades, play the numbers game, they should be able to close this one out from the position that they found themselves in. So Horsemen, for now, just playing it quite safe. Spencer, hanging around in the AMX 1390, he's going to be a bit of a pain for Efficiency to deal with. Might be able to get a couple of shots into the back of Party or Gamer there, up on that 0 line. But definitely across the board, Horsemen are looking pretty good here, and there's only 4.5 minutes as well for Team Efficiency to work with, so they're going to have to start moving sooner or later.
Yeah, it's looking like right now, Team Efficiency trying to think of what to do, I think. And, well, Spencer's just found Party right there in that AMX 1390, and he's going to be punished a little bit, but should still be able to take down the Bat Chat. No, DHXD does instead. It's another tank down for Team Efficiency, and they are not looking good.
No, definitely not. Gamer has taken a huge chunk of damage just there, and now Spencer really putting the shots right into the sides with the 1390. It is the HXD in the end to close it out. We do see a Horseman tank drop, but Horsemen are going to be quite happy with that trade. It's a 3-for-1 overall so far. JP Xerxes does take another one down, but he'll be on the reload now, and an easy cleanup for the FE 215Bs of Horsemen, who can, of course, continue firing. Team efficiency now with 3 tanks left alive. It's a 3 versus 5. I just don't see a way out here for the team efficiency members.
They are just outnumbered at the moment, and that is not going to work for them, unfortunately. But the Horsemen, I tell you what a solid defense here on Himmelsdorf. Definitely wasn't really expecting that, but you know, right from the start, that early FE4005 kill from the Horsemen, I think that threw team efficiency off, honestly. You know, when you just lose a tank like that, one of your tier 10s, one seventh, or maybe even more than 1/7 of your team's strength, well, that's always going to be a big issue.
Definitely would have been hoping to see a little bit more damage coming out of the 4005 there. To be honest, like it did what, 350 damage, I think overall. That was, I'm pretty sure, its only shot.
Yeah.
So definitely not the result you'd be looking for with that kind of a tank.
No, definitely not. Oh well. Unfortunately, therefore, more. He's going to have to go back to the drawing board with that 4005. And again, it's one of those situations where you think, oh, you know, maybe an FE 215B 183, you know, would have been better. Because the FE 4005, as soon as it gets spotted out like that, you know, the Horsemen are ready for it. They obviously, you know, maybe they've done some research as well and seen that team efficiency, they do like to put that FE 4005 somewhere on the hill on Himmelsdorf. And maybe they've said, you know, like, okay, let's just make sure we're all, you know, we've got our AMX 50Bs down the rail yard within shooting distance of the FE 4005 on the hill, you know, right next to corners they can peek out of. And that's exactly what they did. And it was like 3 tanks that shot it. And an FE 4005 does not move fast backwards.
Nope.
It is an enormous target. It does not get unspotted easily. And you can go through it like, you know, a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
So,
which we definitely saw. He didn't have any chance. As soon as he got spotted up there on the hill, he was just going to be taken down straight away. And now, again, another defensive win coming out here between these sides. So that's now 5 in a row. And, well, team efficiency, I guess, luckily for them, going to be moving over to the defensive side. But it's just so hard to say how they're going to do here because neither team has looked very convincing, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think so. But, I mean, team efficiency, maybe they might be able to take out the defense again. Like, ooh, it's very, very tricky. If we're just going off the last 2 maps, then obviously the easy road is just to say that, oh yeah, it's going to be team efficiency taking out the defense.
Yeah.
Because we see that's what's happened in Steps and Co. But I think it's going to be trickier than that. Hard to call.
It is hard to call, but we'll get underway with that very shortly. First, though, we'll have a look at the damage stats and. Well, no FE4005 up there, unsurprisingly, and unsurprisingly as well, an AMX 50B up towards the top.
Yeah, wow, Bolognese did work in that AMX 50B. Only 11 shots, but, well, it looks like he made every single one of them go through his enemies from the looks of things. So, DHXD not doing too badly in that FE215B. Gorilla as well. And, yeah, poor old...
he got another shot off.
Oh, he did actually get another shot off. That's
again,
right.
Not another great shot.
No,
like
again,
it was another 300.
That's the thing. You know, like I did say at the start of the game, you know, I would like to see more load AP on the FE4005. And it's like, well, if you get 2 shots on the side of a tank with hash that, you know, maybe don't go through, then it's 300 damage or so a shot.
Yeah.
Particularly for a heavily armored tank like the IS-7. Get 2 shots with AP, it's 2,000. See you later, IS-7. You know, give or take. So.
Well, yeah. But he was always going to be taken down straight away. Like, he didn't even have the opportunity to get to. It didn't even really make sense. Like, he must have known the IS-7 was there, but why would you be peeking an IS-7 in a 4005, you know, in that sort of a situation?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's tricky. He obviously didn't have the intel required on the other members of the Horsemen who were out in the railway, who were ready to just peek around the corners and in a microsecond, you know, get him down. So...
But the risk versus reward, even though you don't know that they're there, like, and you're like, okay, well, best case scenario, pretty much I do 350 damage because I'm shooting him in the turret basically anyway.
I mean, it's tricky with your 4005. He did 300 damage there, but you know, when you're shooting down like that, there's always some strange, you know, RNG that goes on. You could have hit him for 600, could have hit him for 700.
But even then, I don't know. I don't think it would have been worth. Oh well, maybe we'll see Efficiency pick up the 4005 again on their defensive side. Because I feel it tends to be a little bit more effective on the defense than the attack. Like, I don't think we've seen a 4005 do big work on the attacking side.
Yeah, I like the 4005 on the defensive side. I think that, you know, when you could just sit it sort of where that T110E3 was sitting for the Horsemen that game, just sit it down that 2 line and use it to just shoot tanks that are crossing the road up from the 2 line down the hill. That can work really, really well because you can get those side flanking shots in towards those tanks. So.
All right. Well, let's find out whether or not that F4005 is going to be coming out once more here on Himmelsdorf, and it is.
Yep. Going to be seeing it again, which is good to see. The Horsemen, though, not going to be going that T110E3 on the attack, thank goodness, and going to be going with an IS-7 instead. A couple of 215Bs and 3 AMX 50Bs to top it all off. So overall, pretty strong looking lineup there from the Horsemen.
Definitely, definitely. And it's not a bad lineup against a 4005 like that as well. So I like this one from Horsemen. And I want to predict them to win the attacking side here because they're so good on the attack. But again, I mean, they haven't looked very convincing today. We'll see if their fortunes are going to turn around here. If they can take it to 4-2, that's of course going to be fantastic. But Team Efficiency are going to be wanting to bring this back to a 3-3. At the moment, Efficiency pushing very aggressively down towards the rail yard. So pretty much giving up control of that 2 cap if Horsemen decide maybe they want to get in there really quickly, which is unlikely, admittedly. But yeah, something different from Efficiency here.
Yeah, there we go. So Horsemen right now. Oh no, Colin's actually been spotted out there and just takes a big shot, 600 or so damage. It's not a great start for the IS-7. Of course, the IS-7, when compared to the IS-4, has a much lower base HP pool. The IS-4 with 2.5 thousand, the IS-7 just a touch over 2K.
Dexter's doing a lot of scouting around at the moment. Getting a lot of information for his team. And this is relatively standard, I'd say, from the Horsemen, this sort of a setup. We do tend to see them hold relatively passively in towards their spawn area. Down, you can see in that K6 sort of area. Just wait and see maybe if the Horsemen, if Team Efficiency are going to go for anything. They're trying to gain some information before they go for a push. That's a good shot from Colin.
Very good shot from Colin there.
Quite a long-range shot.
Spotting out Mr. Dexter. So Dexter there will not be too happy about that result. Be heading back towards his 2 flag instead. Or maybe actually up towards the hill, maybe poking that one.
Well, someone for Team Efficiency does need to get information about this hill. And if Dexter, even just spotting no one at that point there is enough information there for Efficiency to know, well, we're not under an immediate threat right now towards that 2 cap. But if he had spotted out, you know, a couple of AMX 50Bs driving down there, then of course Team Efficiency we would have started to see rotate back up towards the 2 cap. For now though, content to sit in their current positions on the railway yard. Horsemen similarly playing very passively here towards the church courtyard.
It's looking like it there. Horsemen going to be sitting there with their FE215Bs and that AMX 50B. Of course, the FE215B with a nice big 120mm cannon. And, well, the reason we saw it deal so much damage in those brawls in the last game, of course, and that's what the FE215B was made to do. It has an excellent gun on it for a Tier 10 heavy. And they actually made the gun on it, the British, back in the day, specifically for the tank. They didn't steal it off a naval gun, anything like the ISs were. They made it specifically to be accurate, fast firing, all the good stuff.
Bit of a history massive hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you would have been spotted.
I don't know. I mean, hard to say. Hard to say, but overall, Spencer in that AMX 1390 is going to be poking right back around the corner, and with 6 minutes and 38 seconds left on the countdown clock, Horsemen have got to kind of maybe start thinking about where they want to make a move here. They haven't really moved down from the bottom of the town, which is looking too good. They could just do a stock standard banana line push, and that might work.
Yeah, I mean, well, the issue with that initially was that Dexter was sitting in the courtyard there just spotting out the banana line push. But now, of course, he's not there. And if they have decided to go up the banana line, then they're not going to be spotted initially. At least they're starting to make some moves down that 0 line. Colin's been able to take down Dexter. That's a good start here for the Horsemen here on the attacking side, and maybe they can finally break that attacking side curse that appears to have started in this series. Although it's a bit early to call, of course.
Just a little bit early, but right now, Colin looks like his radio has just been hit there as well by Bolognese, so a bit low radio range. In the meantime, though, Horsemen are pushing down the hill from the looks of things. They've got their 2 heavies up there. More in that FV4005. Really would have wanted to get some nice side flanking shots on towards those heavies as they cross, but I don't think that was the case. In the meantime, Spencer has managed to put himself on towards that 2 flag, and with no one in that A5 sort of little hidey hole, Team Efficiency can't reset that easily.
Yeah, and more, he's not really in a good spot for this sort of a battle that we're about to see come out. So, if anything, he's going to come in late, and he'll have to come in, you know, with a vengeance late, because initially you would have to expect Horsemen should get the advantage if one of those big tanks from Efficiency, if you should expect Horsemen to get the advantage rather if one of those big tanks from Efficiency isn't in the battle. But I guess we'll have to see how it turns out. Horsemen have just fallen off that cap a little bit, so relieving a little bit of pressure there on Team Efficiency. But we've seen the 5-minute marker go by now, so now things really starting to tick down a little bit here for Horsemen. They need to make their move.
They do, and with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left, there's not too much time for the Horsemen to decide how they're going to make their move, but with Team Efficiency moving, well, they still haven't actually moved JP Xerxes or Party towards that 2 flag yet. And it's looking like the Horsemen actually might be trying for a bit of a flank on towards that 2 flag.
Yeah, this is not a good situation for Team Efficiency. JP Xerxes and Party are going to have to make their way up very quickly. If these FV215Bs and the IS-7 of Colin get around before those two from the southern end of the map for Team Efficiency can get involved, then this is going to spell trouble, and it does look like that's been the case. Those 3 Horsemen members coming around on the flank, I don't think they've been spotted here, and even if they have, there's nothing really that Team Efficiency can do about it. They're going to be coming around behind, and there you go. Gorilla picking up Bohan. There's so much extra damage going across as well. More is going to be dropped by Fuluso, and this is looking fantastic for the Horsemen. They have a couple of tanks advantage. Bolognese, he's taken a huge chunk of damage just then, and he's going to be going down as well. Now just down to Gamer in the IS4 even, but what can you do really against 3 tanks like this?
Nothing at all. Gamer is just surrounded. He will be finished off very, very soon, and well, Team Efficiency, classic mistake there. They've been punished heavily by not rotating all of their tanks when they needed to. I mean, I'm not too sure what the thought process was behind not rotating JP Xerxes and Party towards that 2 flag. Once they spotted a few Horsemen members out around there, whatever it was, it has not worked.
Definitely not. JP Xerxes and Party aren't going to be able to do all that much here. I guess there's 3 pretty low tanks for Horsemen, so maybe the Batchat can run around there and pick up a few easy kills, but even then they have to still deal with those 3 tanks and this cap timer, and there's no chance that's going to happen. Well, there is. This Party's going to pick it up, but it feels like it's just delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, well, Party actually does get another one.
Yeah.
Archon takes down one, though, but Party's he's a persistent little Batchat. You've got to give him that. He's giving it a good crack, and who knows, maybe he'll even be lucky enough to take down DHXD if he's got 2 shells left in his clip.
I think he's only fired 3, so 2 rather, so he should have a couple more.
Oh, he's biding his time there. No, he's going for the ram.
He has to go for the ram.
Oh, he's on fire.
He didn't have time to get the reload off, but I mean, really, at the end of the day, what does it matter? Horsemen going to be going 4 and 2 up after a pretty decent performance there on the attacking side, just out-rotating Team Efficiency very quickly.
Yep, absolute positional control there by the Horsemen, and a great idea for that little flank. You know, again, Horsemen coming up with these innovative strategies, which, you know, we don't see very often at all. Team Efficiency wouldn't have been suspecting that. You know, I don't remember Horsemen ever having done that before,
no.
And particularly when Team Efficiency didn't have all of their tanks around that 2 flag to actually defend it with. You know, they only had 5 out of 7. The other 2 were down the rail yard for whatever reason. You know, maybe thinking the 2 flag push was a fake originally. Could have been that. I'm not too sure.
But even then, like, if it was a fake and suddenly 3 Horsemen players had popped out down towards the south end of the map, then those 2 tanks would have been overcome as well. So not a great situation overall for Team Efficiency. And, well, I guess it just goes to show that Horsemen a little bit stronger there on Himmelsdorf. We'll have a look at the replays and see how they went about it.
So, in Nice. Was a nice shot there from Dexter, I think. Yes. He honestly,
Colin.
Dexter. So yeah, on towards Dexter from Colin, but Colin was a sharpshooter this match in that IS-7.
Yeah, like it's obviously not the kind of tank with the best accuracy, and to hit a couple of quick shots like that is pretty impressive.
And too short there, but I didn't see that FE400 shoot. I don't know, but shoot too many.
I think he was in a position to get a bit of damage across, but again, it didn't seem to be all that impressive. Let's find out and see whether or not the FE400 did have much of an impact there. The answer is not really.
Nope, as we do see, well, fairly well spread damage amounts up the top of the scoreboard, 1 through 7, all dealing 3 or 2k between those two. And the IS-4s, well, actually both of the ISs, I mean, they always work on Himmelsdorf, so it's good to see them up the top there as well. We do see that FE215B of DHXD. Again, DHXD and Colin, they're tankers to look out for, and there is a reason. So we did see, look, 600 damage.
Probably one shot at best.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Yeah, Mr. Moore, unfortunately. And again, it's a situation where, like, when you're up against heavy tanks or tanks with armor in that FE4005, you really want to load AP for the guaranteed damage when you do penetrate someone. You know, it still does, you know, an average of 1k or so damage with AP shells. You don't need to load the hair shells necessarily. You know, but anyways, there you go, 2 and 4 to the Horsemen.
Yeah, I mean,
thought?
Not really something I expected. Although, I mean, admittedly, I'm not surprised considering how close a lot of the standings are. Like, it always feels like some of those lower teams can beat some of the higher teams. So, and in this case, 7th versus 3rd, well, it's just proving that from the Horsemen. And I'm definitely not surprised to see Horsemen really taking it to team efficiency here, who at the moment do seem to be having somewhat of an off week. Like, they just have looked a bit uncharacteristic, maybe because they're missing skill. But, you know, how much can you draw from that, losing only one member? Like,
yeah, I mean, you got 7, so you've got a few backups, and I know that, you know, lots of these teams, they do practice and their backups have been with them for a long time. You know, and I think even Bohan, you know, game, aka Botech, as he's also known, you know, he's been with Team Efficiency for years, and lots of the TE guys have been with Team Efficiency for a long time, so they've all got synergy with each other, I think. So, yeah.
All right, well, we better hope that synergy is going to come to the fore here in our next map, because it's basically do or die time for Team Efficiency.
It is do or die, and they're going to be doing or dying on Ghost Town. Yes, there we go.
Maybe they're going to become ghosts after they die here.
Do the Horsemen become like horse ghosts?
I don't know.
Team Efficiency become like raccoon ghosts? Is that logo raccoon? I don't know.
Not American. It's weird because they have a lot of Australian players. You'd think they'd pick like
a kangaroo or something.
Kangaroo or something like that.
That'd be a little bit cliche. Anyways, but tank lineups fairly standard on both sides. probably talk about those Horsemen going with those FE215Bs. They're really good with FE215Bs, the Horsemen. You know, British Tier 10 heavy tank. They've gone with the AMX 50Bs. A bit of oomph, a bit of firepower. Great for the close, short brawls. And Team Efficiency going with some fairly standard tanks as well, some similar ones. They have got the 2 bat chats on the attack. Always nice to have the bat chats to give you a flanking option, as we can see.
I do know flanking options are, you know, they're definitely there for Ghost Town, but a lot of the time we do see the battles tend to devolve into brawls.
Yep.
So in that case, I think Horsemen might just have a bit of a stronger lineup, or that sort of a scenario. But certainly both teams have got some decent brawl-heavy lineups. Just going to come down to how they play it out. Efficiency on the attack, I think that's not good news for them.
So Team Efficiency, 14,500 HP total in the pool. Horsemen 15k. And it's looking like, wow, some aggressive positioning early on from Team Efficiency. They're moving right up towards the 1 cap. They've already got what looks to be 2 members in towards it. So they're not using their bat chats for flanking, but using them for the cap instead. I like that move. It already puts so much pressure on towards the Horsemen. They know now that there's 2 Team Efficiency members in towards the cap, and it's going to be very, very hard for the Horsemen in the town to get over towards that 1 flag, because all of Team Efficiency are defending it.
That setup that Team Efficiency has got in the town. As you say, he's going to make life pretty difficult here for Horsemen. I think it's just going to come down to Colin. He needs to be the one to get the reset, and already this has not started off very well for the Horsemen. Gorilla's been caught out in really no man's land, down to 1500 HP, and well, this cap timer down to 10 seconds. Colin, it's really down to him hitting this shot, and he does manage to do that. Gets Safi down by 528, but now the Bat Chats look like they're going to move off the cap circle here now that they've forced that rotate from the Horsemen and really try and take the fight here to Colin, who should be off the reload relatively shortly. There you go, another shot goes into Safi, but is he able to get another one off here? I don't know if the Bat Chats are going to be able to close him out in time, so he might just get one more off. If he can get off to Safi, that'd be great, but I think he's going to have to oh, well, never mind. I was going to say maybe have to settle for Dexter. In the end, though, he gets that kill, and that's worthwhile there from the IS-7. I think he did his job, and they've also managed to pick up another kill, has the Horsemen, so they have a tank advantage, but they have lost a lot of HP in doing so, so they need to make use of this extra gun that they have in the game, and unfortunately, Gorilla and Fulu, so both very low. There goes Bolognese, or Party actually, to pick up Fulu, so things are starting to swing back in the favor of Team Efficiency, it seems. Yeah, Team Efficiency now encircling these Horsemen right here. This is not looking good for Nundesu and Archon. Archon's just gone down right there, and Team Efficiency should be able to close out Nundesu, although Party is actually on the reload. He might be going down as well. Nun does try for the ram, but it's not going to be enough. Does take down Party, though, as Bolognese there trying to get some shots in as well. 3 members of the Horsemen left, on fire for Nundesu. That should be enough to finish him. And just like that, Horsemen, only 2 tanks left, 1 on 63 HP. They should be going down. Yeah, I mean, difficult spot there for Horsemen to get out of. Team Efficiency just set that up very well. Gorilla looks like he's going to go down right at the end there. He just snuck in the death at the end. But yeah. Like, the setup for Team Efficiency was very good. And Horsemen, yeah, they had the IS-7 up there, and I think the IS-7 did enough, but the rest of the team didn't really seem to be able to follow up on it. Yeah, no, you're exactly, and I think that IS-7, look, you know, it was combating 2 tanks. You need to get the reset on those 2 tanks in the cap. And, you know, when you've got 2 tanks, you need generally 2 tanks, particularly when they're Batchat APs, those tier 9s, which can deal so much damage on their own. You know, it's not just like throwing an RU-251 in the cap. If you just put one of those in there, you know, a tier 8 light tank, then no one really cares about it. It'll take a long time to get the cap done. It's not a damage threat, you know, for these tier 10 heavies. But 2 Batchat APs, you know, it's going to put a lot more time on the cap, a lot more damage if, you know, you try and just take them out with 1 tank. Not going to be able to, so good move. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the IS-7, he got the kill, so I think a 1-for-1 in that situation is not bad for him, considering both of those were tier 9 bat chats, so definitely something to deal with. But really, across the board, it was Team Efficiency in the town that won that fight. I think so. So right there, Feluso just going down to Party, and I mean, Horsemen, they just got completely encircled at this point, and you never, ever, ever want that to happen. It means every shot that's coming in is going to hit, every shot that's coming in is going to go through, and at that stage, it's just lost most of their main firepower, with Colin, Feluso, and Archon being down. And the difficulty as well for Horsemen there is that Spencer was not in that fight at all. And yeah, he's in the RU-251, but it's not like the RU-251 can't output a bit of damage. True. I think, you know, the RU-251, you don't want to underestimate it in terms of damage dealing. It's got a decent, quite a good penetration for it. And it can also block shots for some of the tier 10 tanks as well. Not many, but a couple. Not many, but yeah, like one, if you can keep your AMX 50B alive long enough to get a reload off or something like that, then of course that can be a big play. But in that case, Spencer, of course, not having that option, being on really the wrong part of the map. Yep. Yeah, no, a little bit unfortunate there for Mr. Spencer, but overall, I mean, Horsemen, I didn't see any kind of, I don't know, moments there that I really thought, oh wow, you know, great strategy by Horsemen. You know, oh wow, 2 mouses. Oh wow, you know, good defense. Anyways, we'll see. Yeah, let's have a look at the post-battle stats here. See where the damage was coming from. A 113 with 4,000 there from Bolognese. That's not bad. Fair effort there from Mr. Bolognese. We had Party there with 2,700 in his AMX 50B. Gorilla in the 215B doing 2.5k, and well, overall, just a scoreboard reading all Team Efficiency up there. And unfortunately for Safi, Spencer did get a bit of damage across. I'm not sure where he was though. Yeah, 1,200. I mean, that's pretty good for a tier 8. But yeah, can't complain actually. It's not actually often that we see, you know,
those damage numbers looking like that, where there's only one person below 1,000 who had 0 damage.
Yeah.
You know, we often see kind of a couple of kind of stragglers, if you will, heading down there.
Well, pretty good stuff there from Team Efficiency on Ghost Town. And, I mean, coming into this map, it did seem a bit like a 50-50 map, sort of like a toss-up. Neither team tends to favour it all that much. So, for me, I thought maybe a 1-1 might be on the cards. Looks like Efficiency's fulfilled there, end of the bargain, I suppose. Now it's up to Horsemen, really, to pick up a win here.
There we go. So, Horsemen picking up the win here. Well, that would certainly disappoint Team Efficiency, to put it lightly. And I think it is good to see that Team Efficiency have managed to win that one, obviously because they needed to, but to kind of prove that the momentum might be shifting back in their favour, you know. So, I think they could do this. Could pull it off.
Well, yeah. Well, they're going to have to win this second half here on Ghost Town first. If they do win that, then Cliff is our tiebreaker map.
Cliff is our tiebreaker.
I mean, it's not the worst map for Team Efficiency, actually. It's a map that Horsemen doesn't really play either. So maybe if they can win this one, they can come out with a tiebreaker win in this series, I think.
Interesting. Well, Horsemen always veto Cliff, don't they? So Horsemen don't really like playing, even though I think the 1 or 2 times they have played it, they've won it from memory.
Yeah.
So I think overall, if we do get to a Cliff, then it's still going to be an even one. You know, so hard to say. But I think this second half here on Ghost Town is, you know, really where it's going to be at. Horsemen, I mean, maybe Horsemen don't have any strats for Ghost Town. I'm not too sure whether it was a Team Efficiency pick or whether it was
Efficiency's pick.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, you know, I'm, again, a little bit dubious as to whether Horsemen will be able to change enough up here in this second half to actually take it out.
Well, they are a bit better on the attacking side of Ghost Town than they are on the defending side. So, I mean, they've got their poor side out of the way. Although, admittedly, their attacking side is not as good as some of the other maps, like, for example, Steps, Mines, Himmelsdorf. So they might struggle a little bit here on Ghost Town. They have about a 50% win rate on the attacking side. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it is hard to call. Just have to wait and see, I guess, whether or not Team Efficiency is going to be able to come back into this one. Really, I think it comes down to efficiency more so than Horsemen here. Well,
I suppose we better take a look at what tanks both of these teams have picked to see how they're going to do in this one. And already I'm kind of liking both of them, Jordan, both sides. As Team Efficiency going to be going with that T10, that Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank, as well as a Batchat Tier 9. And pretty stock standard lineup. Apart from that, the Horsemen, though, going to be going with, again, a fairly standard lineup, but with that T57 heavy in it. So I like that very much as well. Of course, the T57 heavy, that American Tier 10 heavy tank that's got the auto loader on it, 4-shot auto loader that can put out so much damage if you let it live. So definitely going to be a focused target, I think, for TE.
I like the T10 as well from Team Efficiency. We've tended to see it performing quite well overall when it's been picked. So we'll see how it goes here again. Horsemen at the moment making their way towards the southern end of the map, so a bit of a different strategy to what Efficiency employed, so not getting quickly onto either of those cap circles, and just going to try and force a bit of a brawl here down towards the south maybe.
Maybe. I think right there we are going to be seeing Archon just moving up a little bit, and Gamer in that FV215B. Looks like he's going to be heading towards the 2 flag from the looks of things. And in fact, most of Team Efficiency going to be moving towards the 2. This is a very strange defense that I'm not too sure if they've spotted out any members of the Horsemen yet, but you know, now that they're heading towards the 2 flag, I'm not liking Horsemen's chances here, because 2 flag attacks, generally speaking, very, very hard to pull off, because of course the 2 flag there, like we see, it has 4 entrances in it, so that's 4 ways that you can shoot in towards it, and you know, 4 areas that you have to defend.
So many different angles that you can be shot from.
Exactly.
Is really the trouble. And you know, if you see a guy in front of you, you turn your tank in that direction, try and bounce a couple of shells, there's a guy behind you who's shooting you in the back, and of course it's not going to be a great situation, all things considered. But for now, Horsemen haven't actually committed to that 2 cap. They've just tried to get control of the southern end of the town. They've sent Nandesu forward a little bit, trying to scout out for a bit of information. But I think Efficiency at the moment are in a bit of a better spot. They kind of know what Horsemen are doing, it seems.
It's looking like it there, as we do see Nandesu in that IS-7, just looking around the place, trying to maybe get a few blind shots on towards Team Efficiency. He's not going to connect any of those. TE are actually sending, it looks to be their bat chats to do a bit of scouting. Dexter has just poked his head down there near the 0 line. Not going to be finding anyone just yet. So we have got Gorilla and one more Horseman member up towards the kind of J0, J9 area. And they're going to be very, very hard for Dexter to spot.
It's a very spread out attack here for the Horsemen at the moment. Well, I have to say it's not even really an attack. They just seem to be sort of setting up kind of default, trying to spot out some Team Efficiency members and covering a wide area across the map so that they can kind of tell or try and figure out what Team Efficiency is doing on the defensive side. At the moment, though, Horsemen, they have, you know, they've got some map control, but it's really not the kind of map control that you would want, considering both of the cap circles are not where they've got control of the map. So, you know, they need to start pushing somewhere and trying to get some control across the map, trying to get some information here as to where Team Efficiency are set up and what they're doing, so that they can, when they decide to actually push into either of these caps, have a bit of a better idea as to how they're going to go about it.
Exactly, and it's looking like we might be seeing the old loop-de-loop again, where both of these teams kind of encircle each other and end up kind of swapping positions, which we have seen a few times on Ghost Town before. Always funny to watch when it happens because it's a bit of a rarity, but right now, Horsemen are, well, they're up in towards Team Efficiency spawn, and TE just about getting down towards Horseman spawn as well, so it looks like we will be seeing that. Safi is still guarding that one flag though, so he's in a pretty good spot. And we do have the rest of the Horsemen. I'm not too sure whether they're actually still want to push on towards the 2 flag. I think from this position, a 1 flag push would be, or even a town push would be nice.
It does look like they're making their way towards the 2 flag here. Hulu's so surprisingly leading the charge, and he's an Object 416, so typically for a 2 flag push, we tend to see the heavies on that, more so than the mediums. We'll see how this works out for the Horsemen, though. So now Team Efficiency going to have to answer this. I mean, there's still plenty of time here for Horsemen to play with, so they can try to draw Team Efficiency into here and maybe back off the cap and re-engage a fight every now and then, but plenty of options, to say the least, for the Horsemen.
Plenty of options indeed. As well, Falusa, I'm sure he's not going to be looking too good here in a moment because Team Efficiency are moving up towards this 2 cap, and I'm liking what they're doing. They're kind of spreading their forces, utilizing the open areas of that 2 cap to kind of attack into. So Party and more, they're going to be flanking away all around the side. Dexter takes the first shot though, as with 70 ticks left on the cap, Team Efficiency are moving in.
It's kind of difficult, I guess, to reset onto Fuluso without showing a lot of your tank, because it's such a low profile. They have to peek up over the hill quite a lot. So that's going to work in the favor of Horseman a little bit, but he should still be a relatively easy reset for Team Efficiency when they need it. Although now we've seen a few Horseman tanks just jump on that cap, and that's really started to put the pressure here on Team Efficiency. Bolognese, he's tried to get in there and get a bit of a damage across, but in the end it's actually Party to get the reset onto Fuluso. So we're back to 50 seconds on that cap. DHXD pushing forward, interestingly enough, has gone down very quickly, and this is the trouble with the 2 cap. You can see Team Efficiency have built a bit of a ring around the Horseman players, and they're shooting them from all different directions. It's not a good situation for the Horsemen. They are at least able to pick up 1 onto Dexter, but really it's a tier 9 tank. You need to be taking down Gamer in that FV215B or Bolognese in the 113, something like that. Finally, we see another trade back coming out here for the Horsemen, and things do seem to be shifting back in the favor of the attackers. Once that T57 Heavy comes back off the reload again, then Team Efficiency might be in a bit of trouble. Although, in saying that, Party in the AMX-50B, more in the AMX-50B, they were probably on the reload when those 2 Team Efficiency tanks go down. So we still do have a bit of a battle to go.
Nundes is just getting demolished down to 292 HP. They're Hawks in that FV215B, taking more than he is giving as well. More going to be taking him down.
Spencer on the rotate here with the bat chat. He needs to come up huge for Horsemen.
Yeah, this could be very, very dangerous for Team Efficiency. If Spencer can get behind them in that bat chat and just unload, he is in the tier 10 bat chat, so he can deal a lot of damage, but he has been spotted out now. I feel as though that flank may have been wasted.
Yeah, potentially. Spencer's going to have to fall back out here because he is being chased down by a few of those team efficiency players. It's still a 4v4 here, but a couple of auto-loaders still available here for the Horsemen, so I don't mind their chances. Spencer will be on the reload shortly. He's firing a lot of shots there into the T10 and actually won't get the job done. He's been flanked around there by Safi and Party, and they've taken him down. Safi also able to find Nandesu, and that's a very good passage of play there for team efficiency. Now 2 versus 4, and efficiency, surely they can't lose it from here.
Yeah, surely not, you'd think, as team efficiency should be able to close it out with 4 tanks remaining. Unless, no, there we go. Taking it down to a 4-on-1. Archon in that T57 Heavy is going to be looking not too good pretty soon. And, well, I like the T57 Heavy. It's a wonderful tank. It can do a lot of things, Jordan, but it cannot do a 4v1.
I don't think many tanks could really do a 4v1. Like maybe a Bat Chat would be your best bet.
Maybe. Particularly at this skill level though, where the guys just, they're not going to let it happen, you know.
No.
So, there we go. Archon should be going down very, very soon. Only on 30 HP. Maybe Bolognese will finish him off with a ram. Nope, just puts a shell in towards him.
Alright, well, that's team efficiency picking up the win there on Ghost Town. In fact, both the wins. And, coincidentally, that puts us through to a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker, a Cliff tiebreaker. I love it. A Cliff tiebreaker between these two teams. Not something that I think we get to see very often.
No.
So it might be the first time, in fact, that these teams have actually played each other on Cliff.
I'd imagine that would be the case. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this one. I reckon, I mean, honestly, the Horsemen here have, I don't know, gotten pretty crazy. So.
Well, we'll see. Let's watch the replay first before we break that one down. But
yes,
it was a good reset from Party. I mean, not a difficult one, but at least he got the reset with enough time. You know, didn't let it get down, didn't let it get too worrisome there for efficiency.
I mean, like, you're always going to get the reset. So unlike the one flag where you've only got two sort of angles to defend. On the 2 flag here, you know, you've got everywhere. You've got to worry about everywhere. So, like. The cap pressure that you get is non-existent on the 2 flag because you're always going to have someone that can shoot you, sort of thing. So really not the best move of attack. And again, it's so rarely, Jordan, that I've seen 2 flag pushes work here on Ghost Town. It just, like you said, offers up too many angles to get shot from, and we saw there, you know, team efficiency were just able to use those angles. They were able to get in and just play with the Horsemen on the flag.
Yep, overall, Horsemen not looking too comfortable there on Ghost Town, but I guess overall, it's really the only map that team efficiency has looked comfortable on. So anyway, I guess we'll see how Cliff goes. Before that though, we'll see the damage stats. T57 Heavy is doing the top damage, but again, doesn't really matter when you do not win the game.
And this is true, but I do like seeing the T57 Heavy up the top there with just a bit over 3k damage dealt. Of course, that T57 Heavy, I mean, it does have one of the highest DPMs in the game. So, you know, that's why we expect to see it up there. Unfortunately, for Luso in the Object 416, he was just a bit of a cat monkey there and dealt 0 damage. Did see Nandesu and Hawks around about 1.6 and 1.2k damage dealt respectively. Nandesu in that IS7. I mean, he's had better days. But... yeah, overall nothing to stand out from those damage numbers on the Horseman side.
Well, moving on to Cliff, I've been told team efficiency got to pick. They had the fastest cap, or fastest win, which was 3 minutes and 1 on Ghost Town, and they picked defense. So Cliff defense. I think it's a relatively balanced map in terms of attack, defense, win-loss ratio, but they've decided to go for defense, which, funnily enough, is not their favoured side, statistically speaking. But, again, I mean, it just feels like a map that Horsemen aren't going to be too keen on playing. We've seen them, you know, veto it out many times.
You say that, and Horsemen have vetoed out Cliff a lot.
12 times.
So they obviously don't really like playing it, but I think they can do quite well on it.
Probably. We'll have to see. They are going to get onto attack, which they haven't played so far throughout their season. So... I mean, they might have been a little bit more comfortable on the defense, but I think overall, I think, you know, team efficiency heading into this one will be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you say that. I think Horsemen here, I mean, honestly, team efficiency haven't really played Cliff enough, in my opinion, to, well, they've played it a little bit, but they haven't played it enough, I think, to be super confident leading into towards this. And Cliff is such a seesaw map. You know, Horsemen know how to play aggressive. Horsemen know how to shot call. They do know how to get into these brawls, and often that's what Cliff starts off as. So if the Horsemen can do that, and if the Horsemen can, you know, just get into a nice early brawl with team efficiency, I think anyone can win that sort of a scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe a brawly sort of a situation probably does favour the Horsemen, but I don't know if team efficiency will let that occur. I guess it will come down to tank picks, maybe, depending on if we see something strange come out. Like we've seen a grill a couple of times on Cliff, hasn't necessarily worked out, but for team efficiency, maybe in this situation, that wouldn't be the worst of decisions, just to allow them to sit back a little bit as opposed to pushing in and getting that brawl, which, as I said, maybe favours the Horsemen. Overall, though, I'm still going to favour team efficiency heading into this one. I think they should be able to pick it up.
You reckon? Okay, well, I'm going to go with Horsemen for this one. So I'm backing the lads.
What you're saying is you're going back on your prediction.
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, I'm saying that I'm going back on my prediction, Jordan. I hate to say it, but I am. And well, let's be honest, your prediction 5-2. I mean,
yours was 5-2 as well.
Wow.
So you can't pull that on me.
Yes, I can. I think I only predicted 5-2 because you predicted 5-2.
Oh, well,
I was just trying to be nice.
That's hardly better. You're just cheating.
I was just trying to be nice.
That's like when you go to school and you're doing a test and you get it all wrong and you're like, well, it was his fault. I copied him.
Well,
that's not an excuse.
It's a pretty good excuse, I think.
You're just bad.
You're just bad. Anyways, but I think Horsemen here, they're going to be trying to not be bad on Cliff, I think. And probably going to be trying to win it against some efficiency. And honestly, they need these points. They need to get up a little bit in the rankings. So
yeah, I think overall it's probably a little bit more important for Horsemen, but definitely for team efficiency, they're not secure yet. Like they need to get as many points on the board as they can. So they're definitely wanting to pick up some points here as well. So, I mean, there's a point in it, obviously. Neither team can get the full amount of points now that we've head to the tiebreaker, but still, either team is going to be keen for a win.
Absolutely, I think. And, well, excuse me, I think, honestly, there's something in the air today, Jordan, that is just doing it to me. That I can't handle this tanking excitement, and it's making me sick with... I
think you're really just hyping up the fact that you have a cold a little bit too much, to be honest.
Just a little bit.
Anyway, digressing a little bit. Let's get underway with Cliff. We do have our tank lineups ready for us, so we'll have a look at them, see what it's going to be. Well, not too surprising.
Okay.
I mean, T49, TVP, again, they're not bat chats, which is what we always tend to see, but we do see T49s and TVPs a fair bit as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. Look,
I like the Horseman's pick here a little bit better. Like, I don't know, I just feel like the T49's a little bit too luck-based almost.
You reckon? Oh, I mean, I like the Horseman's pick more just because they've got the bat chat APs, and I think bat chat APs are overpowered at the moment.
Well, yeah, that as well.
I mean, when you think about a bat chat AP, it's got 1600 HP, you know, for a tier 9. So it's only got 200 less HP than a tier 10. So like what, 10%, 12%? Like not a lot less HP than a tier 10. You know, could put out just about as much damage per clip. So it's a pretty fearsome tank.
Oh well, let's find out who's going to be the victor here. You've said Horsemen, I've said team efficiency. And let's, at least for my sake, hope that T49 is going to come up with some big plays.
Big plays.
Haven't seen too many T49s be extremely effective, although there was one time on Cliff, I think it might have been Meltdown maybe that were playing it, or they were against it. But whatever happened, the T49 really put the damage across, and I think it might have sat up the top of the scoreboard at the end. And, well,
so we're seeing the brawl.
It does look like we're seeing the brawl at the moment, though. It looks like it's going the way of team efficiency, and not exactly sure what Horsemen are doing here. They're so split up, and yet they're still charging in. They are starting to trade a little bit of damage back, but they're taking so much, and they should be able to take down Dexter here, but he's already got off a decent amount of damage. So, I mean, I think overall that's probably favoured team efficiency just a little bit.
Just a little bit right there, but you can see their team efficiency have just lost another one, and Horsemen do have more guns on the field. 4.2k HP to 3.6k for the Horsemen.
It's really backwards and forwards here. Where's Moore in the T49? Need to see him come up with a big shot here to turn things around for team efficiency. Bolognese is going to be going down, and it does feel like Horsemen have had just a little bit better of focus fire, I suppose, than team efficiency, who at the moment are sitting 2 tanks down, although Moore, he should be able to take down Nundesu. When's he going to get the reload?
Not soon.
No. JP Xerxes and Party, you got to imagine, also on the reload. Maybe Party's not, but JP Xerxes certainly should be. And now it's really a tough situation for Horsemen, for Team Efficiency to come back into this one. Even though there are 3 really low tanks for Horsemen, they need to, you know, show themselves, I suppose, to even get those kills. And in doing so, they will take damage in response. And Horsemen should be able to swing this in their favor, I think.
I think so. As Party right there in that TVP.
Oh, do they know Fuluso's here? If they don't, and he just pops over and takes down Party, then it could be a match-winning play.
I think, well, we're about to find out as he is actually getting up
surely
there.
He got spotted then. Yeah.
Yeah, must have.
So he's not going to be able to do anything from this position now that he's spotted, especially considering the amount of HP he's on. If it was like DHXD up there or something, sure.
Bit of a shame there for Mr. Fuluso, man, but Team Efficiency, I mean, I do like how they have the T49 left at this stage because, I mean, one shot from the T49 will be enough to take down anyone apart from DHX.
That's a good shot.
Good shot from Party.
Still more work to do, though, for Team Efficiency. Yeah, that's helpful. But that's exactly what they need to be doing, though. Taking down those low HP targets. Spencer and Nandesu will need to be very careful with how they're playing if they get spotted, even if they're not spotted.
Yep.
You know? So it's definitely not a closed book here for Team Efficiency.
No, certainly not. Anyone could take it out at this point. I like that positioning there of Nandesu in towards that 2 flag. In the bat chats, it's going to be camping out in there. 90 seconds left on the cap. So now Team Efficiency have to think about how they're going to approach this 2 flag right here more. Looks like he's going to be coming up from the 1 flag and maybe even just checking the 1 flag first to make sure that that's not the cap. It's being enacted by the Horseman. He might actually be spotted out by DHXD there, yes.
He needs to get some damage across. If he's going to go down, he needs to at least do something in response. Party probably under a little bit of pressure here from Spencer, but it seems like Spencer's not too keen to repink that angle either. And now Team Efficiency have found themselves in a bit of a bind. They've got all of their tanks are just split apart, and there's no one that can trade. Even if Party goes down, maybe JP Xerxes, if he was in a good spot, could get the trade. And it does seem like they're grouping up here, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of having more all the way up towards that A line. Just don't think he can get enough done on his own, which is exactly what he needs to do. Maybe if he can get a penetrating shot onto DHXD, the 2 remaining members for Team Efficiency can clean things up. But
it's going to be hard.
It's a hard ask, yeah.
But more right here, he is going to be trying something, and well, on the move, that T49's derp gun is not particularly accurate, so he will actually see.
He's right behind DHXD.
Oh, no, you see, that's it.
And JP Xerxes, he's so low as well now that really there's almost no hope for Team Efficiency in this one to take down DHXD. Unless Moore can get a reload off and get some sort of magical shot, I just don't see this happening for Team Efficiency. Although, he should be coming off the reload relatively shortly. He's pretty still. He knows exactly where DHXD is. And the main thing is staying safe from Spencer while getting that shot across is going to be crucial here for the T49.
Yeah, and look at this stage. It's going to be very, very hard for Moore to do it. You know, even when he's moving this fast, it takes a few seconds, literally a few seconds, for the T49 to stop, for its gun to zoom in.
Oh, he's got it. He's got the shot that he needed. But now Party with only 151 HP to play with, he needs to clean up 3 tanks. And that's a big ask. Even though they're all 1-shots, he's under a bit of pressure.
There's one.
There you go. That's
there's one.
Could this be the play of the day? I don't know. He's got a couple more tanks to deal with.
Oh, it could. It could. Party right there on 151 HP. He is looking not very healthy, but with 3 shots left in that TVP's clip, he can do it.
He definitely can. See if he's going to be able to spot Nandesu, and he probably can, but he's probably shown too much of himself in the end. No, he hasn't.
He got it! He got it! He gets
looking
it!
the wrong
he
way!
Gets the 4v1!
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Party. You legend.
That was insane. Team Efficiency. Hey, man, I said they were going to get it. Easy peasy. I wasn't worried.
You were worried.
Maybe a little bit.
He was worried. Anyways, Party with the big players.
That was big.
And, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a 4v1 work out. Never. And if there was one tank you needed you would have liked to do it with, it was a TVP.
Exactly.
You know, super short reload time, can empty its entire clip in under 4.5 seconds. So, you know, basically a second a shot, and just enough to finish off all of them. So perfect.
It's a good thing that bat chat was looking the wrong way, I tell you that. If he had have had time to turn the turret around, then of course.
See ya.
But, well, that's how it goes. And, well, Team Efficiency have performed a pretty good comeback there, picking up 3 in a row to bring it back to 5-4, which is going to get themselves an extra point. So they'll be happy.
They will be very happy, I think, right there with that one. And, well, why don't we take a look at how they did it with the replays of it. So I think Team Efficiency, we're going to be seeing them here. Look, early on, they started off the fight pretty well. Look at that. You know, they got a lot of damage out on towards the Horsemen. They did lose a couple of tanks after this first fight. And
Moore wasn't really in this fight either.
Yeah.
So that might have been a bit of an issue there for Team Efficiency. But it did also feel like their focus fire wasn't quite as good as the Horsemen's in that initial fight. So, I mean, in the end, it did come down to this... well, one, that shot from Moore actually connecting onto the HXD is what allowed Party here to get the one shot. But definitely a good performance overall from Party to pick up 3 really nice shots. And Nundesu just looking the wrong way. That's got to hurt.
That has got to sting, I think. And Nundesu, well, honestly, if you're the Horseman after that, you've got to be thinking, how did we let that one go to this?
Well, maybe the damage stats will reveal that for us. Party.
Oh, the hero. The hero.
4.3k. Moore sitting there as well, doing all right. But look at that. 5 from Horseman up on the top of the damage charts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I guess admittedly Party was stealing a lot of the damage that everyone else from Team Efficiency might have been hoping to do.
But there you go. The T49 works, obviously.
Yep. Like I said, I mean, yeah, it's probably the second time I think we've seen the T49 really perform quite well there on Cliff. Typically, it doesn't do all that much, but definitely in that situation, it did what was needed. And Archon, imagine if he had it one shot.
One shot, Archon. Look, he fired one shot as well. If that one shot that he fired had connected, then could have changed the game. Oh well, there you go.
Important win though for Team Efficiency to just keep themselves a little bit safer in towards that third position. Horsemen though, again, they're going to have some real struggles in the last couple of weeks to really try and get themselves up to that top 4 spot.
Nothing here is 3 points as well. You know, we had the first phase of the season where, you know, some of the newer teams basically lost. You know, lost a lot. I think Run, Twist, etc. But now that we've got the top 8, every single match that these guys are playing, they have to fight their hearts out. You know, like we just saw there. Tiebreaker, so every point counts.
Definitely it does. But that's been it from Team Efficiency and Horsemen. A fantastic match to start off today. We do, of course, have 3 more matches coming up. We're going to head to a quick break, but stay tuned. After this, we've got Meltdown up against Dark Horse. We'll be back in a sec.